What's good, everyone? Peace, peace, peace. How y'all doing tonight? Coco Francis, love, sis, love. Short TV, what up? Artful, Sagafet, what's good, bro? What's good, Sagafet? Kabaka, love. Flobori, love. Lady T, my gorgeous sister, what's good? How you doing, Empress? No, it's not Creole. It's English, sis. I only got Wednesday, only Wednesday. Creole for Wednesday. CC Polly. What up, CC? What's good? What's good, gorgeous? Baby G. What up, sis? How you doing, Empress? How you doing? So, it's Supernatural Saturday. So, that's what the show is about. A Supernatural Saturday. And we on for a ride for the night. June. Salio 2. On that respect. Loca Red. What up, gorgeous? How you doing tonight? What's good? Um, let's see. Nancy. Hey, Nancy. What up, baby? How you doing, sis? How's the family? I hope everybody's all right. Zoridians in the building. What up, Zo? What's good? And we on for it. I'm kind of gonna open. I'm gonna open the panel early, and after an hour. So for people that have questions, I'm gonna open the panel a bit early tonight because I'm not gonna have an all nighter. So limit is at 11. So we on for 3 hour ride. So welcome to the show. And as you get here, you tap the screen, you shadow live, and you bring the prosperity energy so it materialize back to your world. So it's good. We got Cena located of Ghana. What's good, Africa? What up, Ghana? What's good? Let's see. Man, listen, we on for a ride. So we'll see what time it is. It's 8:24. We jumpstart the show at 8:30. 8:30 is what we gonna do. We gonna jumpstart the show. We have a long ride for the night. We got Rick from IT. Rick, IT, repping IT Sekafet. What up, family? All my Zoes out here, man. What up? It's IT Heritage Month, so it's always special. Thank you. You love the jacket. Yeah, this is custom made. This is my clothing line. So for right now, the tariff cut our feet. So we're gonna wait till the tariff so we can do anything as far as inventory. So I won't be able to do anything until this tariff situation is being dealt with right now. So what up? What up, Chuko? What's good, man? Kaimwe, Sakafet. That's what it is. Rick, what up? What up? And tonight we're gonna have, man. Shout out to my young brother Latouche in the building. What's good? We're gonna have a good talk about vampires. We're gonna talk about lottery, vampires, and also relationship. A lot of us is suffering, having issues in our relationship, and it's not normal. You think it's normal, or you think the behavior of your girl, or you think the behavior of your man is a natural recurrency, but it's not. It's something way much more deeper than that. And we talk about, like I said, lottery. We're gonna definitely talk about the gambling system. How it works, and so much. It's gonna be a dope ride for the night. Now Naglin, you said voodoo is devil worship. Don't you worry, you're gonna get yourself educated here. That's what I do. I bring, I educate you. Education is not education. See, the problem we have in our society is the education. Men afraid what they don't understand. And ever since the empire fall, ever since Tartaria fall, we've been designed and what we call orchestrated the system of the education. They don't teach us nothing because they know what you call the devil is ignorance, to be exact. Okay, Let me say it again. Shout out to MSP from London. What up, mate? What we call the devil, you see the word, pay attention to the word. Devil, devolve. You see, devil mean devolve. That means it's a process of devolution. It's a process of falling. That's why they call it falling angel. In order for you to fall, it's only one thing that can causes you to fall. You lost yourself. You lost your pace. You lost your knowledge. You lost your frequency. You lost your resonance. And you fall down to the frequency ladder. So everything that you don't know, everything that you don't understand, it is your devil. It is the devil. Okay? Everything you don't know, everything you don't understand, that itself, it's the devil. So again, education, not deducation. If you stay educated, not deducated, not indoctrinated, because that's what religion did. I think the biggest problem of our society is religion, because religion instills fear into us. Like I said before and all the time, fear is the strongest currency of this planet. Fear keeps you away from your truth. Fear keeps you away from you facing your destiny. Fear keeps you away from evolving, because what fear does is making you stay stagnant. So once you stagnant, you can't bypass anything that you know deep down inside you're supposed to. So it's a stasis level of consciousness that keeping you away from your own true destiny that you're supposed to be here. All of us here on this plane, our job is to seek. We are seekers. You come here for two reasons. The reason why you find yourself in this realm and this physical trap in this physical prison, it's either you fall, that means you fail the classes, that you have to come back here to raise your consciousness. I always say this over and over again. Every single time I have a live, that's the first thing I'm going to tell you. You are here to raise your consciousness. You are here to raise your frequency. Until then, you are bound to trap here. You are bound to repeat the cycle over and over again till you get it. And that's why this plane was designed for one way. Nothing escaped this plane unless you fulfill the demand. There's a demand on this plane. The demand is consciousness. The demand is vibration. You have to vibrate higher than the normality of this place. And this place is just a dead weight, and it's a chaotic environment. So therefore, your job is to educate, elevate, overstand, understand, stay outside of understanding. And that's when you will find your purpose and your truth. We give a divine honors to my beautiful, gorgeous sister Sandra, my admin in the building, always working hard to make sure that and let the people know how you can support these ventures and we can support each other. So I got to give kudos to my beautiful sister, taking time of her day to be there with us. So that it's a bliss, and I must honor that. And thank you, sis. I truly appreciate that. And may these ancestors, the same effort you provide for me, may the universe provide way more opportunity for you and your family and beyond. Okay? Thank you. So, in the note, I'm going to give a shout out, just roll call, okay? So, rep your city, rep your town, and big shout out to the mainland, and big shout out to the world. So, rep your city as you got here. Roll call, let your people know where you stepping, where you repping, all of that. So, let's see what's popping. Okay, the South stay running last time. Up north, take it all the way. So let's see what's going down. Let's see who pops up in the building. We got Lil Jersey in the building. What up, Jersey? What's good? We got Lock, Wind Fire, Kansas. What up, Kansas? What's good? Kansas City, man. We got Pittsburgh in the building, man. Steel City Room. Too cute from Steel City. Pittsburgh, what's good? We got Monica from Maryland. What up, DMV area? Big up to Monica, man. We got relevant information from Jackson, Georgia. Georgia was good, okay? It's getting out there. It's very balanced right now, okay? We got Maurice from Philly, Pennsylvania. What up, Philly? What's good? We got Chlore Cafe from Alabama, man. Listen, the South is always out here in the building. Let's see. We got Kai Theus from Rhode Island. What up, Rhode? So definitely New York. Let's see what we got. We got Brooklyn in the house. Okay. BH was good, okay? We got London in the house too. All my mate from London, what's good? Rudolph, what's poppin', brother? Let's see. Another Philly from Lady T from Philly. So okay, up north is already stationed to look like they're gonna run with the show. So let's see. We got Boston, Emmanuel from Boston. Oh, okay, we got Barbs from Philly too. I'm trying to tell you, man, up north is 20 deep already. Up north is done till the pendulum is swinging on up north way right now. We got Denise Royal from Jamaica. Wagwan, my sister. What's poppin'? What's good? Shout out to my Yardie sister from Jamaica in the Caribbean. That's the first Caribbean nations pops up in the world call. We got Thunderhawk. What up, pimpin'? Let's see what we got. We got the same Thunderhawk from Mississippi, the Southern. So we have a balance right now between up north and the down south. Let's see what we got. Let's keep moving. We already got Boston from Emmanuel out here repping. We finally got Phoenixville, Pennsylvania, man, up north again. Rochester, New York, up north. I'm trying to tell you, the north is running with it automatically. Long Island, New York, the same thing. They running with the show. We got Virginia, man. Shout out to Virginia in the building. Okay? Shout out to Virginia. We got Cocoa. Where's Cocoa? No, Curaçao. Where's that? Be more specific. Barranca. I don't know where that is, brother. So be a bit, just fill me in, okay? We finally got Canada in the building. Peaches. What up, Peaches from Ottawa, Canada in the building. What's good? Man, we finally got a second IT. Boule Mak IT Sakafet. What up, IT in the building? And we just got a Florida in the building. I was just wondering, like, what's up with Florida? So big up to Florida. What's good? Okay? And let's see what we got. We got Dan 007 from Pennsylvania. What's good? Okay, I'm telling you, St. Thomas. Coco Francis from St. Thomas. Wagwan. Shout out to St. Thomas in the building, man. We got Fly Guy 362 from Connecticut. Man, big up to Connecticut, man. I think up north just take the whole show once again. Shout out to, I mean, we got brothers from Zimbabwe. Shout out to Africa. It's a worldwide show. We got Netherlands in the building. Man, we out here. Okay, we got Lynn from Boston. Man, it's official, man. Steel City. You already know Steel City. Run up Steel City. You already know. Big up to Pittsburgh, okay? We got Trinity, man. Finally, you got a Trinidad Nipsey. What up, man? Shout out to my Trinity in the building, man. We got two, Bahamas. My Caribbean folks is finally coming through right now. We got Rocco from Florida. What up, Florida? We got Chi-Town, okay? Jordan, what up, pimpin'? From Chi-Town, what's poppin'? Man, first Midwest for the night. We finally got a Midwest for the night. We got the UK again. What's good, all my UK folks, all my mates in the building? What's good? Let's see what we got before it's over. We got MIAO again. We got Big Buff from Baltimore, man. What up, Baltimore? What's good? We got Jersey right here. We got Tahiti. Man, listen, we got the Pacific family members out here. That's special all the time, man. To see that the family that we gather, because this is the consciousness of the empire. This is the work of the empire. This is how beautiful it is when I see family members from all walks of life, from everywhere around the world, come and gather with this special moment that I'm having with y'all, because it's what the empire have in the past. We were a global citizen. We didn't have boundary. We didn't see the world as we saw ourselves differently. This was a beautiful civilization, and we all have access. There was no such things as borders, as telling people they not welcome. Nah, we developed the empire developed the majority of these places, so therefore everybody was not having a title or a tag on your face to tell you you're not supposed to be here and this and that. Nah, we were one people, a global civilization, and then that was the most beautiful time before they destroyed and turned the world upside down. So big up to all family members around the world. And again, we are each other's parents, and you don't know who we gonna reincarnate it, who we gonna come right back to this world. You might find yourself to the other side of the world, and that is your next destiny because that's how the universe works. Because I tell people, don't hold on too much on your grudges. Don't have too much hate dominate you because whatever that you fail to maneuver, whatever you fail to overstand, understand, and understand, the universe is gonna find yourself to be incarnated to that moment so you can get it right. So if you hate someone, or if you hate people, or if you hate the groups, you best believe the universe is going to create a reality for you to go through what you hate, because what you hate only simply mean you didn't know what it is, so you have to go through it to finally master it. So again, hate is a form of not mastering the dimension. Hate is a form of not mastering the moment. Hate is a form of not mastering the frequency. And until you master it, the universe is going to find a way to get you there to get it. And it's going to be in the most brutal format because we're in the time of revelation and we're in a time of judgment. Judgment is not how society is telling us it is. We're in a time where you think judgment is the destruction of other people. No, judgment is, see, let me put it this way. If the people that's committed crime, if the people that's doing the hurt, or the people that's causing issues in the world, and they end up one day drop, they unalive out of nowhere, this is not judgment. Okay? It's not judgment because the world is not seeing who they are. See, to you, you might call it a judgment, but the universe is not seeing it as such because you don't know who's doing it. Judgment is when you know who's doing what. Judgment is when you finally decipher who's behind the curtain and you judging them based on their act. That is true judgment. Judgment is need to be done as a form of exposing, as a form of exposure. But judgment, they teach us, is literally having to see a bunch of innocent people got unalive, destruction, people that have nothing to do with the condition of the world getting suffered. And while the super elite that could have done better, they out there living a good life in their bunkers while the innocent is getting unalive and stuff. That is not judgment. Okay? And this is not the judgment that I'm actually hoping and thinking and wishing on the next person, because this is not judgment. Judgment is what we doing here. We are judging the people and we are putting their truth out and we are exposing who's behind the curtain and then judge them based on what they did. That is the truth. What up, Big Pimpin' Rosalvo? What up, Pimpin'? What's good, man? Um, that is what the true judgment is about. And that's the judgment that we hope and we all strive to see. Okay? And also, when we call revelation, revelation is not you holding a Bible and you trying to quote the Bible step by step and hoping to see what the Bible said and then you live that moment. Nah, nah, nah. It's not what revelation is. Revelation is what we doing, revealing the truth. We are revealing the truth. We are turning the stone. We are exposing the lie because that is the time of revealing the truth. That is revelation, not your Bible principle that they teaches you to think that's what it's going to be like when it's not like that. So I just want to make sure you know that. But again, that's the knowledge for the night. So let's just jump start to the show. And anybody that just get here, you're welcome. And I appreciate the moment. I appreciate your time. And it's a beautiful gathering. And it's always special. It's special to be around here. It's special to be with y'all. And it's special to be in a position of information. Now, I love this picture. This was also one of the paintings that they have in the Vatican. Now, even though it's a painting now, it doesn't matter, but it's a consciousness of an act that's being made. Now, for some people here, they don't get it. They might not get it, but this is actually the truth. This is what's happening in the regular in our world. What you're looking at here is by far to me one of the most accurate depiction as a drawing that we ever seen. But most people have no idea. Okay? Dan, appreciate you too, brother. This is what people don't know. What they are witness here is by far one of the most, to me, I feel like this drawing is a hell of a drawing. And, you will be entertained as it look like, okay, it's whatever, but it's not. This is a real deal Holyfield drawing that's out here. Now, what I said is like, I'm not saying the drawing is true to the point of you would identify the people for what they are. No, I'm just telling you this drawing is accurate based to what they trying to say. To me, they're trying to pass a message in here. And that message is clear. What you're looking at here, folks, this is the other realm. This is the Ethereum. This is the realm that you cannot see, but it's very real. These are multi-dimensional beings or multi-dimensional entities. This is how they see, listen now, this is how they draw them. Remember, these are multifaceted creatures. They can take many forms. They can take many aspects of the reality your eyes can actually materialize as you perceive them how you see fit. Because all of us, we don't have the capability to see these multidimensional being the same way because each of us have our own natural frequency. So sometimes your frequency might give that entity its own shape or its own form because you vibrate differently than each other. So whoever draw this, they only draw it in one dimensional way of explaining their experience with it. Now, everybody that you saw on top, this is what you call the saint. It's what I always try to tell people. In the ancient time, they used to call these people saint. Now, for people that don't know what is a saint, the saint are people that were born to do that. They were trained. They were born just for to do a specific job. Now, how those saint was born, this is what they call the immaculate conception. When they tell you the virgins gave birth to a bunch of children, today they told you is one. They just always giving you the story about Jesus that he's the only one that were born like that. No, it was a group of them. Okay, and that culture, this is the timeline before Tartaria fall. And the reason why Tartarian fall is because they create a cult and they going after these children. Now let me explain. In the ancient time, they didn't call people king. Okay, they called them saint. All right. It was the emperors and the saint. Now today, the job of a saint is being labeled as king today. Today you would have called those saint king, but they were what you call saint. Well, today that's why you find people pray to the saints because the saints were doing a specific job. They were protecting humanity. And this is why you find people still today praying on the saint, asking them for help because this is what they were doing. They were designed to do one job, protect humanity from multidimensional entities that were penetrating this realm. Now, to be exact, these women, when they came here, remember, that practice is passing down from an ancient ones. Let me say this again. When the earth, remember, earth was built for one reason. Earth is a dumping ground. Earth is a prison. Our ancestors come here to trap the worst kind of entities, the worst kind of spirits away from their homeland. Earth is a place that they designed to trap demonic forces or disagreeable forces. Now, when I said forces, let me be clear so you get what I'm saying. It's called animator. Your animator is what you call a spirit. Everything that have a spirit animates a body, but the spirit have his own consciousness that's behind it. So within that consciousness, a lot of these spirits is not hard, it's very hard to deal with. And since you cannot destroy a spirit, you can contain it. Remember, the spirit is eternal. Nothing can destroy a spirit. You can just move it away or dissipate it. It is still going to find itself to assembly itself right back. So for that, our ancestors came here to the earth, what you call Middle Earth. They come to the Middle Earth and they create this dimension for one reason, to purge demonic and disagreeable forces. So now who are these disagreeable forces? The same forces that reincarnated into bodies, the same forces that reincarnated in their family, the same forces that reincarnated within society. And sooner or later, these forces gonna influence humanity to do worse, to do whatever you saw we are doing as far as chaotic lifestyle. That's what it was for them. But since they are much more advanced than us, now I'm talking about our ancestors. They are not from here. They from a different border. They come from a different, area, a different dimensions, but they came here to trap these entities in one place. And this is why the Bible try to refer to it. And now for some people that wonder why I always bring the Bibles up, is because this is a book that most people have good references or they have an idea because it was forced on us. It was a book that have a strong indoctrination. Some of us got our ass whooped just to make sure we read it. So that a lot of us is very familiar with these terms, so when I use them, I just only giving you a compass to try to see exactly where I'm going with the knowledge. So again, what they told you in the Bible is that they told you that God, okay, God was chasing the demonic forces. It pulled that they told you that Satan come down to the earth and he come down with a bunch of his legion, all of his spirit. Now remember, the only difference is they told you Satan come down, or they chase Satan down here. They trap him. This is the truth of our ancestors coming here to trap all of this disagreeable spirit. Now remember, the word Satan is a Creole word for people that don't know. Now, you would associate the term Satan as something evil, but it's not. It have nothing to do with that. It's just a description of an activity. Now, remember, they come here to trap, and that's why the word is Satan. Satan means Satan. That means this one is with time. That means they were trapping them into time. Remember, a spirit don't have time. A spirit don't have an expiration. A spirit is immortal. But if you can take that spirit, you incarnate it to a body, then you gave him a time. That means you trap the spirit within the cycle of mortality. And this is what your Satan is. That means it's trapped in time. It's a Creole means sa. That means this is time. That means you come from a cycle of immortality. You come from a cycle of omnipotent to a physical existence. And this is why when they came here, the first thing that our ancestors were doing is creating what animal? They start to create the animal kingdom. That's why they told you the Garden of Eden. The garden was nothing but animal, and because of one reason. That's where they were trapping these demonic spirits. They were trapping them on the animal cycle, okay? So they are facing the cycle of reincarnated in animal cycles. That's why they told you in the same Bible, right, that Jesus cast the negative spirit. They cast it in what? In pigs. What is a pig's? An animal. So they tell you again, this is what they were doing, trap demonic forces in animals. And that was the only thing they came here to do, just to create a huge amount of garden and spaces, and trap and create the animal kingdom. And each personality of these forces will take a shape based on who they are. And this is why you find a bunch of animal that is, you call them wild animals. They are eating flesh. They are hunting each other. They are eating babies from others' bellies. You see that all of them is the trait of personality of certain spirits that they trap on these animals, because they cannot allow that same mentality to be in a human body. It will be very detrimental, because they already seen the aftermath where they came from. In their home planet, they suffered so many wars, and that was the only solutions to come and trap all of these entities into one spot. And the machine that they use to trap the spirit, and the machine they use to project the spirit into the body, that was the sun. Okay, the sun is a technologically divine energy system that they use to project those spirit back to physical bodies. So when the sun rise in the morning and project, and when also a soul leave, it's the sun will collect it for you. Okay, and this is why they always use the sun. They said sun is God. They call him Ra, is because they know the ray, the atum ray, or the Ra. They know the sun have the ability to allow who's coming here and who's not supposed to be here at the same time. So that's why the sun always been revered as the highest spectrum, because the sun is actually the gatekeeper of this dimension, which a lot of people don't know. Okay, the only way for you to leave this planet is to become a sun yourself. Let me say it again. The only way for you to leave this dimension, because it was designed as a prison, the only way for you to leave there is you become a son. Okay, that's why they call it the son of the sun. Okay, that's the only way so you can get it. Now, what you call the moon, remember, what you call the moon is actually the aura reflection of the earth. So the moon is not really what you think it is. It's just a reflection of how the dome system is operating outside the solar flare. So you're not really looking at a full body of what you think it is, but the reflection of the earth once again, but within the dome globe format. Remember, the dome is it looked like a arc. The dome looked like a sphere, but that's what you're looking at. But it have nothing to do with what you think it is. Okay, so it's still what you're looking in the sky, and you call the moon is actually the reflection on water within how the cycle of the luminous Earth dome is projecting back at you. Remember, everything you saw on the moon. This is how they draw the map. Okay, the map was drawn from the moon. All of our map is not because our ancestors were flying with high altitude and they know they were looking at the moon, and that's how they create the maps. Okay, so the moon is literally Earth that you're looking at. Okay, to be exact, Middle Earth. All right, so you just got to know that. Clarence, what up, young Pippin? What's good? Now, um, like I said, this is the after our ancestors done create the natural selections, and they create all of these animals and start trapping these entities, these disagreeable spirits inside of them. Then from there, their job was about to be done and to leave and go back to where they came from until some of us failed. Okay, some of us is the same family members, where I mean some of us, we came here as a lot of us. Okay, this was a major missions, and to seeded earth, I'm talking about many areas. So just to try to populate it, the entire globe with animal and physical body to trap these entities, it was not an easy task. So now though those areas today, you will heard them into old fables or old stories. You're gonna heard these places like Atlantis, Lemuria, or Mu. All of these names are locations that our ancestors was going all over to perform these responsibilities. So it was nothing but a job that they were came here to do. And this is also why the Bible said that. They said, let's create it men in our image. Let's. So it's a groups of them doing this. And remember what they chose to say, this is what one of us failed to do. The men was never a part of this. We wouldn't Our job was never to use our genetic makeup to create another vessels outside of us. This is where we failed. And some of us created other entities. Today you would have called in the sapien, okay? The sapien was actually a faulty responsibility, is because some of us failed the task. We were never supposed to use our genetics to cross splicing entities to this physical world. And this is why all hell break loose, and that's what caused the first destruction of the earth, what you call the first cataclysmic event of the ancient world. They refer to that as the great flood. They refer to that as the fire in the sky. They refer to that as the comet. But eventually, this was how they get rid of all the abomination and all those renegade creation that was taking places here, and they wiped them out. But now, after they did wipe them out, not all of them get rid of. That some of them survive, and after that, some of these entities survive. We talking about we talk about millions of years later, and generations later, after the great flood and destruction, you find a groups of us survivors. Some of us suffer from genetic alteration. And what we call genetic alteration is after they create the dome. Remember, the dome were built is right after the great destruction. They built the dome. The dome was eventually built by our ancestors just to make sure these abomination does not actually went to their world. They want to make sure whoever survive going to have a high level of radiations in their blood. They're going to carry a bunch of poison and diseases. So they create this dome to trap and encapsulate it, everything that survive or potentially survive, so they don't bring arms to them. And that's why they build this frequency resonance. What you call the dome is a technological design by these what we call motherships. Those motherships is what build these domes. and this is a sound frequency that create the dome. And the reason why people think it's actually a glass is because the sound frequency is actually vibrating the H2O. The H2O is what you call water, and they materialize the water system to sound what you call cymatic, and it will look like a crystal. It's a very thick crystal-like dome, but it's done to frequency resonance, and it's created by a mothership. So that was the reason why they did it, just to make sure, or precaution from having, these whoever survived don't bring that shit to their home world. So they make sure they keep us inside of that thing to try to further observe us, because after the great destruction, remember, they deactivate the sun. Remember what they call a comet, it was not a comet, it was the sun that falls. Okay, there was the sun. When they said the sun was walking on water, they talk about when the sun come down. That's what causes the great flood, when the sun actually hit and it create a gash. Until today, you can go and you can see satellite images. You see a big hole in the planet, and that was the black sun that did that. I mean, when I said black sun, it's a magnetic sun. We have three sorts of energy. We have electro, which is electricity, health, electromagnetic. We have the magnetic sun, we have electricity, and we have the ether. The ether is not located in the dome. The ether is outside of the dome, okay? So we have three sources of energy, and all three of them, our ancestor built them. This is technology that built these things, okay? It's all technology, but this is what people don't know of. But today, technology is deemed as, you don't question. That's why, you have a society of today that's built on faith, where everything they ask you, just you gotta have faith. When you said faith, it means you don't question things. You just agree with it and move on. Or the persecution of technology within the system of religion. Religion tell you that technology is the work of the devil. So again, so you never question absolutely nothing, or even trying to figure things out about how things comes to be. But that's how they do it. They've been doing this for a long time, where you keep your ignorance being entertained with the notion that technology is evil. So you never get to further explore the endless possibility of knowledge of things that our ancestors been accomplished, or things that are left behind for the next generation to learn, in order for them to find out exactly who they were and who they are. So now, from that, after the great destructions, this is where you start having a group of people now. You have generation later, generations after generation done lost, and you have also a new breed of what we call mutation. This is where the mutations start to happen. Then what the first mutation is what we call the shrunk. A lot of us start to shrink. We don't no longer have the size that we used to have. Now we start shrinking. Our natural size was used to be about 100+ feet. Some of us was 50 feet, 100 feet, to all the way down to what we call about 9 to 10 feet. Now 9 to 10 feet today we'll consider a giant, but this was a natural size before we reduce even worse to what we are today. What we are today is a complete abomination and a complete sickness. I mean, we don't, if our ancestors walk right now, they saw us, not only they're gonna keep us away from them, but they're gonna see us as an insane defect, to the point that they will not only study us, they will feel like to get rid of us. Okay, they will feel like getting rid of us is the only way, because they will be afraid to staring at themselves to be reduced to that level or to that magnitude. And this is why I'm telling people all the time, no one gonna come and save us. Okay, for people that think that, a group of God coming down to the earth and save all these ancestors, no, these ancestors not gonna come and save us. Okay, because we are defect. Matter of fact, we are biohazard for them. Okay, and this is why they stay away from us, because our blood is taint. Our blood is completely radiated. So for them, we are nothing but an abomination walking the earth. Now, the only reason why they don't get rid of us is because they are studying us. So we are a studying case for them. They are watching our every move. They are studying us because we are very interested. Okay, our blood, I mean, our level of resilience, we are like cockroaches. Just like they told you, if it's a nuke, if a nuclear ever fall, the only species that survive is cockroaches. So for them, that's who we are. We are little cockroaches that they are learning about our survival, and they are learning about also we are what we call little blood fusions, or we are little organism that they can use for further use. I don't know if you understand. We are little organism that they can use for their whatever reason that they see fit when we talking about medical level or scientific level. So that's why they're not going to allow people to destroy us, but they're not going to come and help us. So they are just watching us inside of, yes, we are specimen, that's the proper word. So we are just little specimen for them as they are watching. So take heed, but that's the truth. I know the truth is too hard for you to digest, but it is what it is. It's the truth, and I gotta give it to you like that. But even if you don't have to believe me, you might think I'm talking slick. Okay, it's your prerogative, and I understand that it is what it is. We just having a convo. So if it don't move you, it is what it is. So take it how you want to take it. So from that part, um, these ancestors, when they come back here and they notice the vast level of contamination that was on the planet, the vast level of the birth defect that was happening on the earth, they realize now this place is not a place that they themselves can survive, because the magnetic sun causing so much damage to the ozone layer. But also what was very fascinated for them and also terrifying for them is the level of mutation that's been happening underwater, because the magnetic sun went underwater. So all the damage in the gamma radiation blast, it happens inside of the core of the earth. So that means a lot of aquatic animals or a lot of aquatic entities that they create themselves, they start to suffer with the mutation. So they grow in some significant amount of body weight. I'm talking about these entities underwater grow so big, our ancestors realize they become a prey to a lot of entities that survive after the Great Flood, because the gamma radiation make everything grow underwater. And also some of these abominations that survive, they themselves suffer. They went through the process of mutation and they become a bit bigger. So for them, they know the only way for them to stay on earth, they have to go through a process of extermination. Let me say it again. They understand if they're going to coexist with, if they have to come back to do a job, they have to do a high level of extermination. And that's what they did. And today they make a movie, and they create the movie called Predator. The Predator is actually what's really happened. The Predator was our ancestors that come back and they trying to clean the earth again so they can resume the process of what we call creating bodies to trap these entities, which mean the animal kingdom. They start to jump back with the agenda once again, because earth was not, was very damaged. So when they came here, they found a bunch of abomination and talking about huge gigantic entities. Also the trees was very, I'm talking about cannibal trees that actually eat flesh. See, you find a bunch of trees that chop from the top. You wonder where these technology come from. You find a lot of gigantic trees and the top is level flat. These were our ancestors that cut off these what we call animated trees. They get rid of them. It was another type of war on this planet before you see the human that we are today, or the society that we happen to be on human. It was not that easy for us to be in the surface like that. The reason why you walk, you don't see these entities coming trying to grab you, or you don't find other gigantic creature trying to grab you, because our ancestors make a plea deal with them, because our ancestors will exterminate them so bad. It get to the point that those that survived and those that was out there, they were assigned, or they were given a ultimatum that do not mess around with us. And this is why you saw nobody come here to try to mess with us, because our ancestors understand we gonna be something they're gonna use in the future. So whoever trying to be harmful, like, because remember there was a bunch of entity that was eating people. We talk about giant. That was some cannibal giant eating people. You have tree that was eating people. You have, listen, you have the bull. You call it Baal. So many entities after the great flood was out there. Man, listen, we were food for them until some of these ancestors come back here and start to fight back and actually trying to exterminate them to the point that they give them an ultimatum to say, no, it's off limit. Stay where you need to stay. Do not cross this boundary. That's why the jurisdictions start to change. And that's why you find a bunch of entities, they live in the wild. They never come in armed human because they know what was said to them in the ancient time. And they know what happens for them. And they were given an ultimatum to not arm humans, stay in the caves. And that's why you heard creature living in the caves, some living underground. It was after our ancestors did what they did with the cleaning and the extermination process. They were given notice to not messing around with us, which is the surface dwellers, to keep us around and let us just evolve in our own pace. And they are watching, just like I said, they're not going to interfere, but they're not going to save us from us. But if somebody out there outside of our jurisdictions try to come here and mess with us, that's when they're gonna pop up. Okay, so you know that. So within these process, folks, a lot of these entities. I know somebody said the live is freezing. Anybody here? Am I straight? Everything good, y'all? Is everything good? Okay. So fast forward into our time after these ancestors done settle. When they settle after that, they start over with the recreation of animals. They start to create the animal kingdoms, and they start what we call the immigration system. This is when the first immigration system start, and they start to exile people because they start to know that some of us, we were working with with these abominations. Because remember, after the great flood, these abominations were the one helping us survive. Okay, and to be exact, one of them, one of these abominations that actually really, really genuinely was helping us is what they call today the reptilian. The reptilian I mean, I'll call it teacher. Those that, like some of us that survived the flood, they were the one helping us. Okay, they teach us how to farm. They teach us how to do fire. The survival instinct or the survival tips. They were the one doing that. Okay, and they were the most advanced out of all of these abominations because they were the one they were created as the first abomination before the great change. So for some people here, it's the first time you're hearing these conversations. If you want to get more clarity, go to my Patreon and go watch my animation documentary. It's called Paidwall, The Creation Story. Go watch it. It's a full animation. You'll be able to see exactly what I'm saying. So therefore, it's a full animated docs. Then everything I'm saying will make sense. It will be more clearer for you because the animation make everything clearer. And I have, artifacts, pictures of the ancient times, everything. Listen, this is the dopest, my favorite work, and I'm working on the production for part two. So just if you know what I'm talking about. But if it's the first time you're hearing this, then it might take, you might feel like that's something that's not completely adding up. It might take you off a little bit. So shout out to my young brother, Triple Nine Divine in the building. What up? Okay. So after that, like I said, a lot of these entities was helping us, and to be exact, the reptilian was known for that. This is why you find a lot of ancient artifacts revered the reptilian because they were a teacher to us because they know what happened. They were the first abomination create, the first genetic manipulation that happens, and they have a very close connection to our ancient ancestors. So, in a lot of technology of the past, they were the first that retrieved them after the Great Flood. So, some of these technology that survived, these reptilian were the first to get their hands on them, and they were using these technologies because they didn't, they don't go to the process of losing everything because they survived. So, whoever survived know how to use what was already there, and they were one of the group that was the smartest one, and they were the first one to be spliced to existence, so they know how to maneuver things around. So as far as the humans, some of our ancestors that left behind, those that didn't evacuate it in time, those that stay under the dome before they create the quarantine, they suffer what we call mutation. That's what I said. And then what the mutation is, we start to shrunk. So generations, and we talk about millennials later, a bunch of children being born shrunk. A bunch of children being born with defect. And again, look at our skin tone today. We become brown. in an ancient time, in our full form, in the world of our ancestors, they are blue. They are blue or green or purple. These are the three colors spectrum that they have as in their skin. They are blue black. That means they so dark they have a blue hue saturation into them, or they have in green skin. That's why they trying to show you with the Hulk. They show you the Hulk is green. They show you Osiris is green. These are the color of the ancient gods, if you want to call them that. But these are the ancient ancestors. When they come here, that's the skin tone they have. Okay, the purple, the blue, the green, the triple black, going to the blue saturation color. That's what they used to. And now we start to look what rust, and that's why our skin become we have brown skin. It is straight up rust because of radiations and poisoning. And since the ozone layer got poisoned with these gamma radiation from the flood, we become copper, looking more like rust because we lost the chlorophyll, and everything around us was completely trying to survive. The atmosphere was no longer inhabited. We just adapt to a poisonous environment, and that's why we look the way we look. Okay, so people know that's what it is. So we went in 100+ meter in size, reduced to 6 feet to 5'7" to 6 feet to 6 feet. We went from 100 meters. So if our ancestors walked the earth today, you will see them as titans. Let me say it again. If our ancestors walk the earth today, they will look like titans. Okay, that is their natural size. They were titans, and that's what they hide. That's what they don't talk about today. They will call it Nephilims. That's another way they try to describe them, but make it feels like to say that the Nephilim was this and that. Is all cap. This is the size of who they were, okay? And to us today, the humanity today, we are miniature creatures, okay? We are miniature creatures compared to the size of our ancestors. It's funny because Mother Nature done show you the same contrast in our everyday activities, but you probably didn't notice it. For an example, if you ever go to an ant colony, you go to an ant colony, if an ant looking at you, that's how the ant gonna see you. The ant gonna see you as a titan. Okay? The ant gonna see you as a titan, but in the ant world, they are who they are. They are the size of themselves, but they are seeing you as a titan. And this is what Marvel was doing with the Ant-Man. If you ever watched the Ant-Man in Quantum Mania, that's what it's called, Quantum Mania, with Kang the Conqueror. Remember, Kang have the technology, and they show you Kang can shrunk himself to a molecular structure. I'm talking about a level of a small molecular structure. They are telling you the process of what happened to us, how he shrunk to a molecular structures as far as little small atoms. This is a truth they are telling you, but people don't know that. But Marvel is just giving you little glimpse here and now, and we just watch it as a form of entertainment. But this is still a part of our story being revealed to us as a form of entertainment. But that was actually a real truth of how we reduce to a molecular structures or to a little atom level, okay, because of the great changes within the quantum system of the planet after the great destructions of the first line. So, back to the knowledge, like I was saying, after some of these abominations help us, this is where you find the culture of worshiping. This is where the culture of worship started. Okay? Now what start to happen when these abominations help us, we start to draw on the wall. We start to draw about them. We start to teach our next generation that's born within the new system, and those that born with the defect, those that don't know about the ancient world, because they don't know what the hell happened. They done lost everything. These entities now is playing God, okay? And a lot of them loving it. And to be exact, the one that actually the most helpful to us, it was the reptilian, the snake. And this is why you find most of our culture, you find the snakes is always involved, because this is a reminder of who helped us survive after the great destruction. That's why you find the snakes in all the pharaoh's head. You find the snakes in every culture because they do really help us. And also, when they give them the ultimatum, they were one of the first that was given this ultimatum to not destroy human and to keep you, to let us evolve in our own pace, and for them to go about their way and just be around but do not interfere with our own evolution. And this is why they still around. The reptilian is still there, but they're not given the permission to do so because our ancestors do gave them the ultimatum to do that. Now, if you want to use a reference to what I'm saying in a movie, you'll be able to, if you watch the movie called Eternal, even if it was a big flop, it was a flop, but that's what the Eternal was about. The Eternal are those highly advanced entities they sent on Earth to pretty much watch the flow and to guard humanity from other forces that was problematical to the involvement of humans. So pretty much what you call the eternal is our ancestors. If you want to call it, if you want to describe who they were, you can say they were the eternals. Definitely, that's the way for you to track down what I'm saying. If you want to use Marvel or if you want to use a movie as a reference to how you would be able to describe who they were, so use the Eternals. That's who you would kind of define who they would have been. So now many of these entities was around. The reptilian was one. Baal was one. Now, for people that wonder, Baal is the bull. Is the bull with like a humanoid body with a bull head. Okay, Baal was there. The lion was there, half human. That you call Sekhmet. Today you can call it Sekhmet, half human, half lion. It was there. What else? You have a bunch of giants. The giants was there. So many versions of them. That was there. Then also the mermaids was there. That was everything you saw that we use as a form of worshiping, as a form of magic. All of them was there. Yes, dragon was there. Okay. Now the dragon was known to be one of the first group that our ancestors obliterated out of here. The dragon was so problematical for them, and a lot of their ship was wrecked because of the dragon, and they make sure this become a hunting mission for them. The dragon was a hunting mission. Matter of fact, they hunt those dragon out of this existence. They exterminate the giant, the dragon, because the dragon was very problematical for them, specifically with their ship being wrecked and destroyed by a dragon. The dragon, they were not small. These things was gigantic, and our ancestors completely get them out of here. And that's why you don't find dragon, because our ancestors exterminate them. And whoever that survived, like I said, they give them an ultimatum. And the ultimatum is that don't mess around with humans. Go about your way. You can live underground. You can live within the mountains. Live within inside the mountains. Do not interfere. If you do, we coming back and it's over. And today, our ancestors can be seen as the predator. Let me say it again. Today, our ancestors can be seen as the movie Predator. That is the description of what our ancestors came here to do. When they show you the Predator come here and the Predator trying to see the toughest opponent, trying to get rid of take trophy. No, this is what the Toltec were doing. Today, they call these people the Toltec, or you call them the Olmec. The Olmec were these were the ancestors that come back and trying to clean out the plains field against these abominations. Let me show you, if you just happen to be here, for people that wonder, let me show you what I'm talking about before I bring it back, before I bring the knowledge back, so you get to know what I'm saying, so you're not lost, because I'm taking it, baby step before I take it all the way with the knowledge. So let me show you what I'm talking about. Okay, this is the people that were doing the cleaning. This is the cleaning crew. Okay, these were the cleaning crew, and also they actually create all of the majority of the pyramids. They were the one that built it because they want to balance the atmosphere, and Earth was just completely tilt off. And these were the cleaning member, and this is where Ridley Scott. Okay, if you haven't watched about aliens, This is where Ridley Scott get his inspiration. Okay, look at, you see what he got on his chest. This is a jaguar, and that's why they created the xenomorph that turned to the alien coming out of their chest. This is where he get this inspiration from. Okay, and what you're looking at here, you saw it. This is an asthma suit, would also look like more like a jetpack. Man, we got a hater right now. Somebody just reported the live, so it's unfortunate this person just want that heat on them. It's unfortunate that person want to get that heat. So everybody, you know what to do. Tap the screen, just roll the corn like my boy be doing. Shout out to We Know the Truth Now. Drop a rose, anything we animate the algorithm. So let me just giving you your ultimatum. Anyone out here reporting this live, let me give you some love that you deserve, because that's what life is. You are the reflection of your action. You are the reflection of your action, and may the universe give you back what you deserve. And you know what I'm going to do right now? I'm going to command the universe to do exactly what you deserve to find. It's what you need to find for the rest of your life: obstacles and misery. May obstacle and misery stack against you for the rest of your life. So now you see how pathetic that is? You just coming out here trying to disrupt people's little time to gather and trying to learn, or trying to be able to get some, we are vibing right now. So it's simple. If you don't like something, move on. There's plenty of the live right now. You can just scroll past what I'm doing and just save yourself this misery. But no, you're just trying to make life miserable to us. And guess what? We're going to make sure the universe, I command the universe to do that in your ass. So again, enjoy. All right, let's move on. So like I was saying, these are what we call the Toltec, or they call them today the Olmec. These were the ancestors that come back after the Great Flood, and that's why they come back with the suits today. You call them asthma suits, or you call the astronaut suits, because Earth was completely destroyed. The ozone layer was not breathable, so they'd be very cautious when they came here. And when they came here, they come with a significant amount of equipment. They have some huge weapon. I'm talking about they come prepared. And this is where you find today they create the character with them. The character is what you call the predator. This is where they mimic the story within the predators, and the predator was hunting the best so-called creatures around on Earth. But this is what they were doing: get rid of all of these abominations that survived the Great Flood. And a bunch of these abominations, they went to the mutation because of the radiation. They grow big. And that's what they were doing, getting rid of them. And for some people here that don't understand, when you saw these Olmec's head, this is not just a size of a head that you saw somebody just, just carve. The size of the head is actually the real size of what they are. So they carved the rock based to their size. So you can only imagine how big they were. They are, I'm talking about 50 to 60 meter tall. So the size of the Olmec head is really the size of their head. And when you see the size of their head is the same height as a human. So just imagine the size of these ancestors. They are humongous. Okay, so this is what they don't tell you. That's why they find a lot of other equipment they find that's buried to the bottom of the oceans, and some of the stuff they recover. They even find some of the swords that, listen, the human hands is too small to be able to carry those level and these gigantic swords. This is insanity of what's been happening in the ancient world. So after they clean up this place, a lot of these dragon been put down, and you can see those dragon on the map. You saw they just buried down, so they become a part of the earth, and a lot of them is everywhere. And also, don't forget what you call oil. A lot of stuff that we use is literally the remains of ancient or carapace or carcass of entities. Okay, so a lot of things that you think you're using is literally left over from a body of one of these major entities from the past, specifically Africa. Africa is the skull of a Titans. Okay, Africa is a skull of a Titan that got severed from an ancient war in the past from these abominations. Like I said before, you have no idea what happens in the ancient time. This place was crazy in the past, as you think it so looks so normal of today. So So many things, and the dragon was one of them that they took out, and that's why you don't see dragon anymore, because they exterminated. It was very violent, and also it was very uncontrolled, and they exterminate that thing out of our little confinement. Okay, and anything that survive around us, they allow it to survive, and they give it an ultimatum: do not mess around with us. Okay, because we are a case study for them, and also we are genetic reserve. Okay, we are a huge gene pool of genetic reserve, so they are just watching us and also watching our evolution, and also using us when they see fit. But they're not gonna come and pick us and bring us to their world, because we are defect. Okay, and we are defect, so they were not gonna bring us to their world. Now, like I said, after the great extermination, that's where you find the exile system started. Okay, and these exile system, they start to exile some people. Remember, these people, they were giant. They have other ones that survive. Remember that not all of the giant got unalive. A lot of them still survive, and a lot of them were living in what you call is a Creole word called Shambhala. When you said Shambhala, it means the chamber that is down underground, the underground chamber. And today people say Shambhala, they don't even know it's Creole word. It means Shambhala, mean that mean the room that's underground. Pretty much mean the underground room. And a lot of them went there because they know outside Earth, the Earth cortex or the Earth atmosphere or the Earth layers was contaminated, so they stay in there. So they live in the inside of the crust of the earth, because outside was too much pollutions. And that's what's been happening. And after the great, exile, this is when now the new seeding of caretaking of humans, and this is where now you find us start to live in without fear, without having to be eaten by entities, without having to be manipulated by other entities. All of this change, and from there they start to exile a bunch of us also that was working with those abominations, because a lot of us was using these abominations as our compass, as our God, and that's why they exile a bunch of us. And most of us were exiled to Africa, pretty much Skull Island, and this is where the renegade culture. That's why they told you religion start in Africa. That's why they told you a bunch of stuff start from Africa, but they're not telling you what started in Africa and what not starting at all. But the reason why Africa become the civilization for a lot of things they said start is because the people they exile start to do their own thing over there. Okay, that's why you find in Africa have the largest genetic manipulation than any other places. You still have the largest hominids. You still have people born with elephant feet. You still have the shortest people, and you still have the tallest people, because Africa was the land of the renegades. Africa was a place where it was no rules. It was where they dumped everybody that violated. They sent them there, so they do as they please. Okay, so this is what people don't know. That was the truth, and America was reserved for the people that they allowed to be here, and the people that follow the law, people that follow the rules, they allowed them to live in the garden. And that's when they pass down the knowledge, and that's why they tell them, do not break the law, that the law call, you call it today Ma'at, and that was the law given to men to govern the earth, to govern the rest of the world. And that's why knowledge was passed down to people here in America. That's why every invention was only created here in America, because that knowledge was passed down and that knowledge was given. So from there, this is when now they gave them the order for a group of children to rule the earth. Now, these children, as today they want to tell you the tribes of Judah. They told you, oh, it was the 12 tribes, it was this tribes. Oh, now it was a groups of these immaculate women. Remember, these women, they were assigned to be here to guard the earth. Or remember, America specifically. America is a matriarchal society where the women were the energy, is a feminine energy, or is a feminine principle that rules America. And this is when now civilizations start to rise Right after that, over the pyramid culture. These Olmec were the one that teach them how to build the pyramids. They teach them how to recultivate the land before they leave, and also tell every other abomination to stay the hell away from humans so they don't manipulate. And this is where most of these abominations, they went to Africa. And because they were exiled, they kicked them out of here. All of them moved to Africa. And that was the land of the exile. This is where religion started. When they told you religion started in Africa, yes, religion start in Africa, because these abominations, this is where they go out there and play their little games of control. And that's why you find the culture of Baal. And because Baal is a very tribe, that's why you get the word tribal. When you said tribal, it means tribal. Tribal, that's where you get the word Baal and tribal. And the culture of tribalism is these abominations that were doing that. To be exact, the half human, half horse, I mean, no, half human, half bull, he was the one that been known for tribalism. You call it tribal. You see the word ball behind it as the last syllable, ball. Tribal. But that is Baal. Today we call it Baal, and that entity was known to be a very divisive entities, and his goal is for war. And what ended up happening, all of the people they exile, they start to create their little crew. They start to create their little tribe. That's why Africa have a bunch of tribes. That's why Africa have so many language. It's the same thing. What you're looking at here, this is it. This is Baal and Sekhmet. That's why you go to Africa, you find Sekhmet in the wall of Egypt. Remember that. All of these things were carved by people later on. Remember that, because they were seeing these entities as their god at that time. Because that's what the culture was, because these entities want to be played as God, because they were helping human that was pretty much what you call suffer from mutation and don't remember what happens. So now these entities, these abominations, they survive. So since they survive, they know what it is. So it's a perfect opportunity for them to play God. So what you're looking at in the front, the bull with the horn, this is what they call Baal. And Baal today, this is where they perform ritual and giving Baal children. See, the children sacrifice. This abomination that used to eat those babies, because this abomination used to fight war for whoever praised them. So whoever worshiped this entity, what this entity used to do is go in and take over, go into different tribal and conquer tribes for whoever praise him. So this is a very violent and warmonger type of entity. So therefore, whoever give him the praise and the accolade and the love and the props, he go out there and fight your war for you. And after he conquered that tribe, then they start giving them newborn. And this and that's how you get the culture from it. But that culture was only where in the Middle East, they were only where in Africa, because this was the exile that kicked all of them out, and they were not permitted to come here in America. This is why people don't even know. They hide these truths from you. And then also you get the lion. That's what you're looking at here, the lyra, which you call Sekhmet today. Same thing with the lion. The lion were known to be a prideful entities. Also, it's an entities that love this pride. So, tribal war, you call upon this entity and he drink blood. And that's why they told you that they gave Sekhmet, red wine, and Sekhmet was just, going and eating people and all that. These were these abominations that humans were using to conquer their territory against each other, or human were using as a tool to fight their own tribalism war. And these entities as being made as God. And that's what it was into the other area you call the renegade. That is what you call Skull Island. It is Africa. And this is where those religion systems start. And this is what start to happen. And guess what? Within these times here in America, this is when they were start to teach our ancestors. This is where the practice start, and the practice of teaching the next generation about how to control knowledge, not only to agriculture, but also technology were given to them. And a lot of technology were given to them. These were spaceship. They gave them craft, what you call the jet propulsion system. The zero gravity was passing down to them. And this is when now people in Africa start to seeing things coming from America, or they want to call them like the primitive, because remember, people in these regions become more primitives, and they start to say they find things in the sky. They saw burning chariot, All it is people from the Americas that is going out there flying around with technology that was given to them by these ancestors that see them fit. And that's what, because they were create the separation between those two type of mentality, and they've been given the knowledge to look and to protect the earth. So these were the guardian of the earth, and it was given to that. And within time, this is when now the culture grows stronger in Africa, and this is what you end up having of today, tribalism, and it lead to the war that actually destroyed the last empire that we know today. So remember, these abominations still exist. They're still around. They're not exterminated. They are still around. And again, the picture I showed you before, what you saw before is some of these people. Now, the person, this is a drawing now, okay? This is a drawing. But what this person is telling you here, these are the people that have been giving the knowledge and the teaching to protect humanity against these abomination spirits that still exist, because earth was designed to control these demonic spirits, to imprison them. But these spirits still have a strong influence in the psyche of whoever exists here. So if you don't have a society that have powerful people that know how to control them, then they will reincarnate it or will control humans. And next thing you know, the world will be completely in chaos, which we are today, because we don't have the saints anymore. Who are the saints? The saints is a group of people, it's a group of women that give birth to children without having to be having sex. Now, let me show you what I'm talking about here. So if you don't get what I mean, let me explain this science to you. Okay, let me explain it to you, because you heard about the whole immaculate conception, but you never really understand what it was. Okay, this is who have the immaculate conceptions. What you're looking at here is the Mother Yanga. The Mother Yanga, this is where the unification of the continent of America and Europe, or the rest of the world, was unified as what you call Tartaria, where we become global. When we become global is because of her permission. This is where all the war was seized, and that's when we become global within Tartarian. Now, what I'm trying to show you is the crown. What you're looking at here is her crown, and the crown is a device. This is a golden crown, and this golden crown still here. I'm gonna show you the real one. What she was wearing in this drawing here. I'm gonna show you the real versions of it. Okay, what you see here, the crown. Like I said, the crown was never met to be looking good. The crown is a spiritual device, and it's a device. Once you wear it, it connect to the ether, it automatically create what you call the Christ. Now, this is for a lot of people here that heard the conversation about Christ. Every single time you think you said Jesus Christ, you think it's just a name. No, Christ is actually a consciousness. And to achieve Christ, you got to be able to have a high level of frequency. So your Christ consciousness, or your crystallite, what you call the chakra, what you call the crown chakra, will be activated. And for it to be activated, you need to have the golden crown. So when these people wear the crown, it's not to look good, but it's actually is a device that give them the ability to see beyond the veil. That means these people can see multi-dimensional being. These people can interface and also interfere with multi-dimensional being, and also see many realms beyond our capability. Remember, we are in the third density. We are in the 3D. What our eyes is giving us right now is the third density. That means everything that is occupied a space as a matter, that's what our eyes giving us. But those people that wear these crowns, they can actually access all the way up to 9D. Remember, 9D, this is a form of an expression. That means their eyes or the ability of the frequency around them give them access to interface with nine-dimensional frequency. And that's why you saw behind her head is radiated, because the crown is connecting with these antennas. The crown is connected with these towers. The crown is connected with these antennas inside of these cathedrals. Okay? You call them cathedrals, but it's cathedrals. It's a frequency towers. And when she wear the crown, all the ether energy around her amplify the crown, and this is how she be able to see these things. Okay? And that's why they try to show you in Marvel. Marvel show you that they call it the gauntlet. Okay, they call it the Infinity Stone. When Thanos have all the stone, he become a god. He have access to travel dimensions and all of that. This is a hypothetically speaking because that's what the crown actually did. It's just a device that did that. It have you give you the ability to see things, and also you can project your consciousness to others. It's almost like Professor X. So whoever wear this crown can send thought on people. You can communicate telepathy with people. This was the big deal. That's why they show you Jesus always got that halo behind him. They don't show you he got a crown, but they show you got a halo just like this. It's only stated that he have the frequency, what you call the crown chakra, was activated. That is the Christ. So when you say Christ, it's only mean that your crown chakra is activated and you vibrate and resonate it higher than a regular person. You see beyond the veil. That's why they always try to show you that Jesus walking around and he's talking to Satan. No one can see Satan, but he does. Only him can talk to Satan, conversate with Satan when nobody can see it. This is hypothetically speaking of this right here. Once you wear these crown, you all vibrate in the Christ frequency. That means you have access to see world that is beyond the veil. That's what it was. Now, what you're looking at here right now, okay? Imperatrice was good, gorgeous. This is the ether from these ancient Tartarian buildings. That's what you're looking at, okay? That's what's on the right. That is the ether from the building that's still active. So once the ether hit, this is the frequency it project. And this is why our ancestors create those crown. Those crown today, because nobody knows, because it's not their fault. They don't carry the DNA to know what they were. Today they tell you the crown is to give you a status. No, it was not. The crown is a responsibility. The crown was a duty. And those that wear the crown been given to by people that know you were born for that, because your job is to protect the realm. Your job is to protect your people. So it's not a feel-good job. It's a job that you have to be born for that. So those that were born for that was named as the saints. They called these people saints. The saints were a different breed as humans than we are. Let me say it again. The saints is a different race of people. Today, you think people calling you saints is just a name. No, saints were a different breed of people. They were not a regular people that were born to men and women. These people were born outside of your norm. These were Etherian people. Okay, let me say this for a lot of people that don't get it. You see this frequency you're looking at on top of this tower right now? Once that frequency hit, those crown, this is where everything changed. Remember, woman have their natural eggs. Women, the only reason why a woman actually need a man today is because we don't have the same energy on the planet. In an ancient time, women don't need men for children because Earth have its full spectrum of frequency. That means they have the ether, they have the ether, the electric, and the magnetic. They have the three suns. That's why they used to call them the three kings. The three kings are three sources of energy. Okay, electric, magnetic, and ether. Back then, when these three sources of energy align, no one needs to have a spark. Remember, the reason why a woman need a man, they need a collision. That's what you call the Big Bang. The Big Bang is the process of sperm colliding with the egg. Let me say it again. What you call the Big Bang is the aspect of the sperm colliding with the egg. That's what the Big Bang is. It's a spark. So when women giving birth to children, all they need is a jump start. It's almost like a car that need a jump. So therefore, to give birth, they need a jump. But in the past, they don't need a jump because the ether was natural for them. So they immaculately impregnate themselves with multidimensional being. Let me say this again. You have other entities that exist outside of our physical boundary. These entities are pure energy. They don't exist in the physical plane. They exist in the 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9Ds. They come from all the way to 9 dimensions down to our world. So these women used to have intercourse with these entities. Now, this is why they call them. They told you that what you call Solomon. Remember Solomon? You said Solomon, but the name is Solomon with a S-A-L. Before they put the S-O, it used to be a S-A-L. Solomon mean dirty spirit. Solomon was dealing with these demons. We call them demons, but these were entities. They exist in the many, and Solomon have a crown. He connect with the ether the same way. So he were dealing with all of these entities. That's why they told you his wife, they call his wife, they told you the girl that he deal with Sheba. Sheba means Sheba. It's a Creole word. Sheba, that means lower flesh. These were multi-dimensional, lower than the flesh. That means they're not into flesh. Sheba is Sheba. That means lower flesh, outside the flesh. That means they were not alive. These were entities. They called them jinn. They called them spirit. That's who he was having these intercourse with. He was not having all these sex with all these women. No, he was having these activity with these entities. Now, if you don't want to believe me, we all have this experience. For an example, this was done to us, every man. Let me remind you again. We all have an experience as our mother was actually programmed these spirit to do that for us. Let me say it again. All of us, our mother, I'm talking about this, some of our mothers in the past, they programmed spirit to help us become men. Now ask yourself, why before you become a man, you hit puberty? I can tell my experience. I was having sex with a person I never seen. That was when I first ejaculate on my dream and I wake up. That's when I find out I hit puberty. Now, who the hell is this woman? All of us have that. All of us have a wet dream when you find out you become a man. Now, ask yourself, who the hell is this spirit? Who the hell is that person? That these are those spirit that our ancestors programmed to make us become men of today. It was all by design. These are those spirits that our ancestors was having sex with to bring about those saints. This is where you talk about when they told you Solomon, that's what Solomon been doing. All of these women don't exist in the physical world. They exist in many layers of existence. The fourth, the fifth. Remember, the reason why I look like this is because I vibrate only in the third density. That means my frequency couldn't get bypassed my third density. If I go higher than my third density, you might not be able to see me anymore. You call me invisible, but it's only I know how to upgrade my frequency. That's the same thing with these beings. Okay? So these women were dealing with these beings. Now, right now in voodoo, same shit. It's still in voodoo. There's women right now, every night they go to bed, they are having an affair with a spirit. Now, what is the spirit? A person they never met before. But this is the same shit. And these women is giving birth to children and their father is not in their life. You ever ask yourself, man, we have a bunch of kids. See, because their culture comes from our ancestors. This is why you find a lot of black women don't have baby fathers. Now, in your eyes, it look bad. It's true. But because black women come from that culture, they come from these women giving birth without men. But since the system changed, since we don't have the same energy, but the practice or the spiritual connection is still there. Now, these women, see, this is what's been happening for black women. Since back then, we don't need men, they don't need men. Since now they don't have the energy, what start to happen, a lot of these spirit, those spirit they used to have intercourse with, those spirit they used to be married in the spiritual world, now these spirit is inspire random men. These spirit is just hijack random men to just have a baby with them in bounds. And this is why those men is not there, because those men was not there. It was never about them. Those men been in control by those spirits just to give them a baby and walked out, because it was not the men in action. These are the same spirit that is no longer can have that connection anymore. They're just gonna inspire our next men so they can just get what they want just to create these babies. And this is what people don't know. They hide all of these things for you. This history been kept hidden, and if they hide it and you think it's just crazy, no. This is ancient shit that's still happening. You just don't know that. You just don't know that. So these children, they were born as saints. When they give birth to these children are the one now that's gonna carry on the job. And what is the job? It's to protect humanity from these multi-dimensional forces that is into the open. Now, this is what they see today. They selling you one of these beings. They give it to you as Jesus. They only pick one character to tell you this is what he was doing. Now, ask yourself, who was Jesus? Jesus wake up like I'm giving you the story they gave us. We all know that story, but they don't tell you the truth. The whole truth is it was a bunch of them. It was not one. They only chose one to give you as the blueprint, and that's where they chose Jesus. When what Jesus was doing, ask yourself how Jesus walk around. He kind of know what's gonna happen. He kind of see things before people. He's talking with spirit, and people think he was crazy. No, he saw things that the regular people couldn't because he come from that. He come from a world of a physical and a spiritual because his mom were dealing with the supernatural. So therefore, that's why they told you, oh, he's the child of God. Now, what is this God? They couldn't tell you. It's nothing more than the vibration of these multi-dimensional beings that was having the intercourse access with physical flesh of these powerful women, and they give birth to them. And they're all known as saints. And that's why they told you, oh, Jesus, he can tell the God. See, they told you Lazarus. Now pay attention to the story of Lazarus. Oh, Lazarus was dead, and he walk in the room, and he tell Lazarus to wake up and walk. Ask yourself, you really think, because all of it's a story. But the knowledge behind it is that he can track or he can see the spirit. That means if someone got unalive right now, the person's spirit left the body, but the spirit is still around. So if you know how to tell the spirit to get back to his body, most likely the person will be able to wake up. So therefore, your Lazarus is another form showing you he have access or he have the ability to see beyond the veil. That means he can track or be able to see the person's essence, where he can guide that essence to go back to his avatar. And that's why they told you Lazarus wake up and he walk. It was none other than the guidance and the supernatural sighting that he's born with. Okay? So all of it was the process of what we call today the saints. And the saints were the children that were designed to walk the earth and protect them. That's why there's so many names of them. They call them Krishna. They call them Buddha. All of them were the saint that were born to seed all of them around the world to bring about peace, to protect humanity from these demonic forces. And what you're looking at here is a depictions of those that's protecting humanity from them. Now, what do you see? You see one of them. Look at one with the crown. You see the crown? And he's playing music. Look at the one in the middle. You see that? He got the crown, you saw the frequency, and he's playing music. And that's why they removed the bell, because the bell is just what? It's music. Once the bell rung, those lower frequencies or demonic frequencies is running. This is why our people, when we in distress, when our people in distress, what we do, we start singing. This is all part of your culture in the ancient time. You don't even know why you start singing when you're in distress, because music is actually resonance and frequency. It forces people to run, and it forces demonic spirit to not being around you. Yes, and you humming too. All of that, okay? So that's who they are, what you're looking at here. Look at the guy on the back, because each of them is actually doing something now. You got to understand. Look at this person right there. What do you see? This is a hand gesture, okay? This is what you call the mudras, okay? Now, there's certain hand gesture that you do, it will eventually push a demonic spirit. People don't even know that. You will call that a mudras, but it's actually hand gesture. That's why you find a lot of people when they sit down like this. These are hand gestures. It's meaning something. You don't know that. They're either welcoming something or they are pushing something. Some sit down, they do this. That is most likely prayer or energy. But hand mudras, all of this is mudras, hand gestures. So again, they are telling you something here, and that is a very well-known postures, and that can be seen in so many. If you ever saw Shiva, if you ever saw a lot of statues of Shiva, you will see they have this hand gesture of this lady they show you on the very top, and that also can be a form of projecting frequencies and push away forces around you. So again, they are telling a powerful story here, and people have no idea how powerful this this actually painting is. And look at this lady here. What do you see she got? She's holding some sort of a device with a crystal, or this is just a device that she's having. So again, a lot of these things is left behind. We have a lot of artifacts they confiscated. A lot of stuff in the past you no longer seen them. But again, they just show you her presence with that device alone can push about these entities from not being around or push them away from who they need to be. Let me show again. Now look at the guy. Look at the there's not much detail about this lady, but look at the guy behind her. The guy have what? A flower, a rose. Again, it's smell, a scent. Certain flower you have in your house will push away demonic forces. Certain smell you have in your house will definitely become a blockage for whatever malefic energies to be at your way. So again, this is the flower that you saw he hold, and that is no joke. So again, this is all well depicted that people have no idea what's been happening in the ancient world. And then I think the last one, let's see, the last one is actually a soldier of faith. So he just straight a warrior ready to fight. So again, this is why I urge people that certain, spirit that you have in your house, certain equipment is very vital, like a machete, like a sword. A sword is a very depicted, especially real sword with real metal. Certain metal you kept in your house that will repel certain energies. Remember, these entities or these spirit, they actually inhabit human mind before. This is not new for them. So these entities, they've been into physical body or they've been manipulate humans. So sometime a simple gesture is good enough for these entities to know you know about their world, and that gesture alone is a form of magic to let you know that you know their presence is here, and you put that machete close by your front door is good enough to remind whatever entities you know their presence is there, and you will fight them back because you know they are here. So it's all a good form of expression, but also symbolic, but it's all meaning a very powerful demonstration to things that you have no idea exist. Now, for the people here, because it's a supernatural Saturday, if it's the first time you got here, and if it's the first time you think what you're looking at in the bottom that look like demons, or this is a little drawing of demons. Now, let me be clear about it. They exist. Now, this is just a simple drawing of somebody expressing their imagination. It's not imagination, their experience. But for most, they would think it's just a drawing, but it's not, folks. These things exist, and I'm going to show it to you how they look outside the physical eye or outside the physical realm, but they exist in the other realm that is most likely the fourth and the fourth, the fifth, and the sixth. They occupy three layers: the fourth, the fifth, and the sixth. You can find in between, but the majority of them, they are very vampire-like beings. So the first three layers are very vampire-like entities. That means they love light, they love energy, and whatever they do is to absorb energy, or whatever they do is to manipulate, and it's to control, because control means they can get their energy through you. They can get their energy to activities that they want you to do. Okay, so let me show you these entities so you know what I'm talking about. But before I show it to you, because it's Saturday, we got to always honor the dead, and also that was his work, and we must give him energy for whatever that he's in right now, as far as if he trapped, or if he's already, maybe he's probably already reincarnated. And if he's not reincarnated, if he got stuck somewhere, I will send energy based to the honor of his great work, because without him, we will not be able to have this conversation today. And the world needs to give him his love, his flower, and let's just hope that he can find his next venture out of this realm to a peaceful demonstration of existence, and also to a next host where he can find his peace and harmony for his next reincarnation. Let's see if I can find this brother that actually creating the device that make us see these multidimensional beings. that today some of us will call them ghosts. Some of them will call them spirits. We can call them whatever name that exists, but nevertheless, they are multi-dimensional beings or entities. Okay? I'm just trying to get the good brother. Here comes the good brother right there. Okay? Here come the good brother right there. There it is right here. Lulu's in the house. Okay? That's the good brother right there. Okay? I don't remember his name, but I got the face right here. He was the one that actually further went through his experiments, and then he deal with ultraviolet and light frequencies and photography and resonance, and to his photography and frequency field, that's what he be able to trap. He trap a lot of these pictures showing you the force field that exists around us have a matter, and within this flash he project the matter frequency to photography, and that's what he have a whole catalog from some of his work, and that's what I just showing you right now. What you're looking at here, that is work. I don't know the guy name, I forgot his name, but I gotta honor this guy because that is his work, and also we need to give him very kudos for that, because this is a hell of a demonstration, a big discovery, because we have so much going on outside of our world that you think you have no idea. And that's why a lot of time you find a lot of us change, and you just wonder, like, how come this person changed so drastically? Like, you sometimes you see friends and family members, you be like, yo, what happens to them? It's not by mere coincidence. That mean that person is being hijacked or being influenced by another forces, that the person is no longer themselves. Because all of us, we have about three gates in our existence. We have three gates that you will most likely see changes to our personality and the person that we will become. When a baby just born, you will see, if you're looking at the cranium, you see the tip part of a child. His name is Daniel Nemes. Daniel Nemes, right? That's the right name. Let me say this: is that the right name of the brother? Daniel Nemes, right? I don't know. Is that so? Okay, somebody said yes. Okay, so divine honors to Daniel Namus, man. Let him find his peace on the next life, and may his family prosper, and may his family being protected, because discovery like this is not a game. It's big. It's a big deal, and it further is knowledge passed to us, and we further the knowledge to the next generation. So let me say this for a lot of people here. Like I said, all of us is being born. We're being born with many gates, and the gates it's actually chambers. We are born with chambers, and these chambers is going to be filled. Is going to be preoccupied with the cycle. Now, that's why I told you our ancestors, they are watching. They're not going to interfere because they know we are partaking in a major sacrifice. That's why they stay away, because they understand what we sacrifice here. Just to be in this dimension, just to preoccupy this human experience is a great sacrifice, because our body is being occupied by demonic forces. These multidimensional beings is actually in us today. Okay, what they came here to create animals, to only trap animals within these beings. These beings were supposed to go in animals. Okay, that's why they came here. That was the job in the first place. Trap these multidimensional beings in animals. But unfortunately, some of us use their own DNA. That means they use their human DNA, splice it with animal, create the abomination, and this is where everything go downhill from there. So some of us, our blood is mixed. Our blood have these abominations in it. So for that, these spirits can't come to our body now. Just because we have the abomination blood, those spirit now can inhabit our body. So therefore, we become vessel for these entities now. What our ancestors was not trying to do. That's why they create the animal only, but some of us splice those beings to existence, and for that reason, we create portals where they can comes in our body now because of that. So all of us is most likely a part of a great experiment, and this experiment is the housing demonic forces, housing multi-dimensional forces, and see if we can coexist with them inside of us. This is why you find a voice inside of you constantly contradicting your thought. You're constantly in conflict with your own self because you have two different forces inside of one body. That is the this is the sacrifice. So when they told you that Jesus come and died for your sin, they not talk about a person. They talk about the human experience. You having to deal with different forces that is inside of you, constantly fighting each other, constantly hearing a voice talking to you, a voice tell you do this, another one said don't do that. This is different forces coexist. That's why your brain is split. Your brain have two sides of it. Each side is being governed by a different energy, and that's why they call it yin yang. So you become a part of the great experiment to be coexisted with multi-dimensional forces or demonic forces. And that's why they give you today, okay? They gave you today the zodiac sign. Now, what is the zodiac? The zodiac is what? Demon personality. They try to see if your personality is matched a half human, a half horse. You call it Sagittarius. This is an abomination. They try to see if your personality match a Scorpio. They try to see if your personality match a lion. All of it has to keep a track to find out if you match one of these personality and how you gonna be about it and how your life gonna be able, how you gonna maintain your balance if you're gonna lose your if you're gonna lose your human side and you tip down to your animal instinct. Okay? That's why he told you it's a fight, it's an eternal fight to maintain balance because we fall under the great experiment. So we are none other than a sacrifice to the scale of existence, and that's what they are watching. So um, let's move forward. Somebody said, what about the scale? Scale is balance. Just maintain your balance before it's too late. Now, let me show you these entities in full actions and inspiration. Since now I'll show you the guy that created them. Now, everybody doesn't know about the Japanese, right? You know about the Japanese. You know about the culture of Japanese. This is what you're looking at on the left, the very first picture on the left. This is a multi-dimensional entities. And this is where the inspiration come from to create the what you call it, the Genji mask of those demons. You wonder like how come someone just create a mask with such an evil looking, and where this inspiration come from? It come from the very first picture you're looking at on the top. What you're looking at on the top is that same entities that inspired a person to create the map, because that entity is the multi-dimensional entity that inspired them to do so. That's one thing about this entity. It's a very blood sucking entity, man. Listen, if you know one thing about the Japanese cultures when it comes to the shogun, they listen. If you violate, if you listen, if you don't even say a good morning, you're gonna have to draw your sword and plunge it in your gut. Okay, just because you disrespect. Now, listen, man, you were giving out fingers. Man, they don't care. This is a very, 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 very strict, and I mean, it get to the point you wonder what the hell is going on, because these entities are the one governed, and they want energy. Okay, they want energy. Okay, this is what's been happening, and this is why you will see that culture. They have no problem gut themselves out in the honor of nonsense. Okay, these entities are the one doing this. Let me show you way more still. Okay, so much, so many of them out there, and you just have no idea. And this is why, this is what the saints were doing. The saints were protecting us from these suckers that you're looking at here. Okay, this is what the job of the saints was for, to protect us from these legion of these suckers out there. Okay, let me show you another one. It's not all of them that is bad. It's not all of them that is bad. That some of them are neutral. It's all about what we do with it, and some of them are good, and some of them is just straight up evil. So now, for people that wonder, this is you. Once again, this is us. This is how you really look. This is the real identity that you have. Okay, so forget about your hair, your look. This is how you really look. You are a multifacet of spectrums of light. So you're a light being projecting rays of frequency. Each frequency will have a color, and this is how these multidimensional beings operate. They all operate based on your aura. So whatever you project as your aura, this is exactly how you gave them a free pass. So if you project an aura that is very low, then you attract the low one. If you project the aura that is very high, then you attract the high one. So it doesn't matter. You are a channeling. You are channeling frequencies around you. And what you're looking at, this is the real identity of exactly what we all look like underneath of everything. Okay. So now let me show you other entities. Some of them are good and some of them are bad. Now, this one gave me a visit last week, and I explained this. One of them I'm about to show you actually gave me a visit last week, and they were trying to take my freaking head off, and I fight that bitch off. And that shit was so crazy. After this entity done left, it was in the dream it come, and they were trying to take my fucking neck off, and I fight him back, and as soon that he couldn't get it, and he moved out from my room, because the moment that, see, the scene happened, listen, it happens right there in my room, but the moment it couldn't get me, it left. The fire alarm went off, and I got up because the fire alarm by my room went off, and that's how I got up in the dream. I explained that before. Let me explain. Let me bring it back for some of y'all. Let me just explain it to you, for some of y'all that don't know. Okay, this one is a very good one. Let me just do this knowledge for y'all. Let me just do this knowledge for y'all, because this is a very, very good one, because I encountered with one of these suckers, and I know exactly where you was. But for some people, they don't know what they are seeing, or they think everything is everything. No, it's not. There's way more to what you think it is. Now, let me be clear about that. Anyone that go watch this movie, it happens because I watched this movie. Okay. Now, I'm not taking anything away from this movie. It was a great movie as far as the cinematography. I don't like the direction they took it as far as the typical cliche, as far as always showing you everything that has to do with indigenous American people that have to do with cotton picking or slave, the slave undertone, little story. That I'm not down for that. I'm completely off. That I was not following that. But as far as cinematography, as far as the cast, it was great. It was great. It's good enough. It's entertaining enough. I give it a 6.5 because of I'm a tough critique. But this movie is more than a movie, okay? Let me be real with you, because that's what I'm here for. While you entertains out here, this shit is way much more than what you think, okay? So after watching this movie, I eventually, I would not say trigger, the entity behind this movie give me a visit, because remember, my eyes is wide open. Now, people that do what I do, you vibrate in the so much higher spectrums. Once you know certain truth, your frequency is in a different level. So you will not see the same thing as others as the same, and you live in a different world. Your vibration is different. The only thing that separates you from someone that don't know nothing, it comes down, it's not the book that you read, it's not the knowledge that you acquire, it comes down to frequency. The more knowledge you have, or the more overstanding, understanding you have, your frequency change. That means your broadband is higher and vast. So therefore, if you have a bigger broadband, then you can also, interface or interfere or have access to other realm that others don't. Because the more you vibrate, the more your mind is thinking, the more you have more access of your mind by thinking in the outside the box, or thinking about many different possibilities. That means you creating a bigger web or a bigger broadband of frequency. So therefore, if this start to happen, then many other range of realm will be interface or interfere with you. So right after I watched this movie, it was quick. I watched this movie in the night, and the same night I go to sleep, and that's what the fuck happened. Now, let me show you what did whoosh woo woo actually comes visit me. So now I think, once again, I don't believe they truly knew that. I feel like the people might genuinely make the movie and they just create a character. But like I said before, this is how these entities work. They're gonna come to you as an inspiration. They're gonna come to you as this is your own thought, feeding you ideas. It look like to you this is your own idea. But in reality, that's them doing this to you because you don't know shit about them. So to you is your inspiration, but for them, they just channeling you to materialize their world to your world. So to you, it looked like it's entertainment. It looked like it's a movie, but for them, that's their reality project to your world. So in the movie, this is the bad guy. That was actually this is how he looked. So when he turned to his vampires and he looked like this. Now, let me be clear for a lot of people that don't understand. Now, for you, if you are a makeup artist, you will feel like, man, this is a hell of a work, which is true. I mean, as a makeup artist, they did a hell of a good job to create the costumes and to make the face look like that. But that's how the person's gonna feel like. But to me, as far as my knowledge, when I look at this, I know automatically what I was seeing. I was like, holy shit, this is not a costume or this is not a makeup. They literally give this entity access to reach to us. So to me, I know it was just a portal from an entities they bring into our realm. And I'm trying to tell you now, right after I noticed this shit, that sucker come and give me a visit the same freaking night. And that motherfucker trying to take my neck off. And I fought him and he took the face of a cousin of mine. He come as a cousin because that's how they usually do. They would take a shape of someone that you trust so they can get close to you. And he tried to bite me off. And I mean, listen, I was fighting the hell out of him, but he was close to take my face. My whole face and neck would be off. And as he get closer, he start to change because I'm start to fight him back. I press him on the wall of my room, and his true face is start to show up. And there's the sucker right there. That's him right there. This is what they put in the movie, folks. And what you're looking at here, this is a multi-dimensional being. This is not a drawing. This is a picture of that sucker. You just take this shit as a game. It's not a freaking game. That's the sucker that actually come in. And this is exactly what they put in the movie. Okay? Yes, you can say Baraka. Exactly. Yes, it does look like Baraka in Mortal Kombat. That is the sucker that try to take my neck off. Now, if you read the frequency, if you're looking at the color spectrum, you can tell this is a chaotic energy. That means it might look very bad and evil, but at the same time, if you can control it, then it can eventually be under your command. But nevertheless, that is what this movie is actually. I mean, listen, I doubt they know, but at the same time, Michael B. Jordan said something to an interview. This is why I know, like, I would not gonna, I'm not gonna give him, the benefit of the doubt. I'm not even gonna let him slide. I'm gonna have to deal with him. I mean, to the highest standard because he said he's a babalao. Okay, so if you a babalao, it's just African tradition. African tradition said that you deal with supernatural. That's what he said. That means he's a priest. That means he's dealing with spirit. He dealing with demon, dealing with good spirit or bad spirit. It doesn't matter. But that's what he said. So that's when I know this is what these people are doing, man. I mean, this is why this movie is doing so good now because they are definitely dealing with some entities, and this entities is actually getting his way with things. So that's what I'm trying to tell you. He is not innocent into this, and that shit is fucking real. Now, for some people here, they're just thinking that if you might think that I'm making this shit. And again, look at the name that he have, Bakari. Now, for people that don't know, this is a, this is a Creole name he have, and the name tell you exactly what it is. Bakari, and that's what he was doing in the movie. They show you that he was laughing as one of the Bakari. Remember, the name Bakari mean is a Creole. It mean Bakari. That mean a demon that is laughing. Remember, who survived in the movie? Bakari mean a laughing demon. Bakari, that mean a laughing demon. Now remember, who survived in the movie? Him. Wu survived the demon versions of him. He was a twin. The good one got unalive and go to heaven, and the other one stay as a vampire into the human realm. That means he survived. And at the end of the movie, he was laughing. Again, the name is Bakari, mean Bakari, that mean a laughing demon. I cannot make this shit up. And what do you see here? It's a laughing demon. This shit, I mean, listen, even if I want to try, the truth is too obvious. I don't make this up. I don't. So, this is what the ancestors was doing, is to protect us from things that we didn't know exist. And they call these people saints. And that's what the saints was for. They were designed, came here. They actually was They were born from that world. They were born from those dimensional beings that impregnated these women, that have been having sexual intercourse with these women in the you call it the dream world, but I call it the light realm, and give birth to these immaculate conception as a physical attraction to these children. And these children today, they will call them saints. They were born all over the world, and their job is to protect humanity from these entities that we don't have access to deal with, or we don't know, or the regular Joe don't be able to see. And that's why they call them in many places in Haiti, they call these children fet en coif. Fet en coif mean you were born with the eye to see beyond the veil. Okay, let me show you the saints for people here that don't know. There's them right there. Okay, there's so many drawing of them. Anybody saw this, they're gonna say, "Oh, that's Jesus and his 12 apostles." Okay, these apostles were not apostles; they were saints. These were the group of saints, and within the saints, they have people that can guide them to go around as leaders. Almost like if we have an organization, not all of us would be able to lead all in one, but we all have the same responsibility, but we're gonna have somebody that is more, charismatics and stuff like that. So, doing stuff, going all over. So this is why all of them have halos, is because they all were born with the Christ consciousness. What is the Christ consciousness? Their crown chakra were activated through birth, because they were not born as a regular person. Okay, so all of them were scattered all over the earth, and this is why you go everywhere around the world, any nation, you're gonna keep finding a bunch of saints' name. You're gonna find Saint Martin, Saint John, Saint Francisco, San Juan, Saint Bartholomew, Saint Maria. So many saints all over the goddamn world, because they are the one that known as the barons of these places. They were the baron of these territory, and protect people from these so-called multi-dimensional craps that was out there. Okay, that's what people don't know. That's what people don't know. Let me show you all of them from everywhere, because they were everywhere. Okay, they were everywhere before the church comes in and try to reduce everything to one. Okay, they reduce everything to one. It was just the one song. Oh, the one this. No, it was not. No, I don't think it was that picture. I think it was, you saw the Ethiopians. Um, man, where's the picture? At sea. Give me 1 second. I'm trying to find a little picture. A little picture right quick. Picture, where you at? Um, Picture trying to hide, folks. There you are. That's them right there. This is those buildings was completely fill off with them. This is in Russia, and that's why they destroy these buildings. What you call Tataria. That's what was inside of them. Remember, Tataria was a global civilization, and most of these saints. That's why Tataria was great, because you have guardian, you have people that is keeping an eye to these demonic forces. That's why we have harmony. That's why Tataria was so beautiful. That's why these cathedral was so beautiful, because there was harmony. We have people that make sure demonic forces was not influencing each other. We don't have demonic forces reincarnated to one another. It was just pure consciousness. That's why everything was so beautifully done, because only beautiful mind, only beautiful consciousness can create so much marvelous establishment like this. Not through greed, and this is why they want to destroy Russia, because a lot of these cathedrals, a lot of these places is still intact. They don't destroy them, and Russia just let them be, because they don't destroy those beautiful places. And the racism stuff or the race issue is not a factor, because all of them is all melanated. Okay, they don't allow the race supremacy to destroy beautiful artifacts over skin supremacy. It don't make no goddamn sense. These are the saints. That's why all of them is all have ark. And the last one we ever had before the great fall of Tartaria is what we all know, Saint Maurice, which is what we call Jacques the First, is Isa Yenga Yaya. That is the true Christ of our last generation. Today they want to call him Saint Maurice. Okay, he was the one really fighting the demon tooth and nail that bring about balance to the world, and he was the emperor of the world. Today they call him Saint Maurice. That's him right there. Okay, that's the glass warrior, the fierce saints of our time, the greatest saints that ever live, that save and bring about order to the world. Today they call him Saint Maurice, but he's none other, because Saint Maurice means the saint of the black people, what you want to call melanin, because more Maurice is mean melanated people. That's what Maurice is. But eventually he was the last emperor of the world, and that was him, known as Isa, the Yenga Yaya, okay? The last children of the great mother Yenga. That is the mother Yenga. That is her, okay? That is her son. Let me bring it up for you. Today they call him they create Jesus, but he was the Jesus, okay? The last saints that bring about the fight. That's the mother Yenga right there. That's the great mother of Esau. Let me show you the young Esau. Okay? So people understand the culture of saints, where it came from. Okay? Let's see. Picture, where you at? Well, let's see where the picture's at. Whoa. Picture hiding on us. The great Esau. Yenga. Yeah, yeah. The last warrior that bring order, protection to the world. Today, named as Saint Maurice. That is the young Issa. Today, they told you, oh, he was a soldier. This is the first soldiers I ever seen walking around with a crown, bro. I could never fathom, like, I don't know why nobody ever could explain this shit to me, because they love saying that. Oh no, Saint Maurice was a soldier. This is the only soldier that I ever seen with a golden freaking armor, that no one in history ever have a golden armor with a crown. Now, what type of saint that, I mean, because I told you, That's their word, because that's what they love doing, hide the truth. What type of saint or soldiers of the church walking around with a freaking crown, bro? With a crown in a golden armor. No one, okay? And this is him right there. This is baby Issa right there. None today as, okay? Known today as Saint Maurice, because they trying to hide the Christ, because he was the last. He was the Christ, okay? He was the Christ, known as the final saint, the saint that actually protect humanity and bring about order and balance to the world before the final blow. Okay, let me show you the let me show you again who he is, so you just bring more clarity for you. Okay, that's him right there. All right, that's him right there. So you know what I'm talking about. That's him right there. I mean, you saw the fresh. You saw the fresh, bro. There's the last saint that we have before the world go down to complete chaos, and that was the end of the culture. Let me see, let me get more picture for you. That's our last saints. That's him right there. That's our last saints. The only saints walking around with a crown, with a golden armor. You just make it make sense. Okay? And he is what you call today the culture that go in the opposite of a saint is what you call, or the reverse of a saint is what you call assassin. This is where the culture of assassin started, okay? It started with him. This is where they start to unalive those saints, and their culture become what they call today assassin, okay? That is that is what you call assassin. The opposite of the saints, it become assassin. That's why they take his head off. Okay, he got they decapitated him. They chop his body to many pieces, and they take his head. And I'm gonna show it to you. And the catacomb culture become a thing. They start to collect the heads of all of these saints, and that become a culture. Even in movie, they show it to you. They collect the heads, and that was the head of the saints. That's why you see in the Vatican they have a huge catacombs all over Europe. They collect those heads. That is the heads of those saints. That was all over Tartaria, all over Europe, all over here, and they collected them because they understand that's how you can trap the very spirit of those people. The head, just remember your head, the skull is a chamber of your soul. That mean whoever got your head, that mean that is the chamber of where your soul is. So therefore, with your head, they have the ability to track down your spirit and even causes you to not reincarnate it. A lot of people don't know that. Whoever got your skull, they have the ability to trap your soul or to trying to create disturbancy from you to leave. I mean to find your peace into the next world. So that's why the catacomb culture was all about, is to collect the saints' skull and to make sure they trap all of them in one place so they do not reincarnate it to a next person. So they don't come back and raise war against those that causes harm to them. And this is why they have a very good long runs, is because they never allowed these souls to reincarnate it or these spirits to find another body to express their frustration on earth. So they keep them in one spot and control their essence within time. So what you're looking at here, let me show you something here so you get to know what I'm talking about. Okay? Let me show it to you. Let me let, let me the, man, did you understand how fly that dude was, bro? Did you understand? You don't understand and understand this, the magnitude of this level of flyness. Remember, like I said, and shout out to Damien, okay? Damien been doing a hell of a job, And y'all need to follow my man Damien's out here, man, because you know that's what I love about knowledge. Knowledge is just a fountain that never ends, and everybody's teaching each other. And I remember it was one of his segments about how the weapon system was going on in Tataria, how they were using the frequency towers to project what you call electricity to each other, and this is what you sound. That's why he was wearing these armor. These armor was just not used to walk around and try to go fight, just like Hollywood show you people wear this huge armor and get to a middle of a fight and they can barely move themselves. No, it was not that. These armor was to harness energy. So this is straight up Star Wars, and that's why his armor was in gold. This is the only person ever on the planet Earth that ever have a gold armor, straight up energy weapon, straight up harnessing energy and completely blast the next person with it. And this is what this was all about. That's why they always talk about armor in the Bible, because they were talk about those that have the style of armor. This is how powerful they were, and this is what it was used for: is to harness energy and project it to the enemy and blast them. That's the power of God, and that's what they were doing. And this is Isa. He was eventually what they said he was. He changed the world, and he was the last saint, and that was where the culture assassin come from, by taking his head off and by being betrayed by his own people. So now let me show you the head. Okay, that is the head that's being paraded in the Vatican. Matter of fact, they never his head is still being used right now as ritual. They performs a lot, because he was what you call the beginning of the culture of assassin. He was the culture of going after any children, the sacred children. He was the beginning of the hunting of the sacred children. That's why his head becomes what you call the culture. That's his heads right there. Okay, and everybody doesn't know. They told you they cut off Saint Maurice head. That is the head right there. So that is what you call Isa head, and what we call today, this is Dessalines. When you said Dessalines, you talk about the bloodline, his bloodline that passed down to the next generation. That is his head right there. That is eventually people that don't know. Now you need to know the truth. That is the truth. That is his head. And the crown, let me show you the crown once again. That is the crown that he used to wear as a child. And a lot of people don't even know that. But that's what this knowledge is for. So you know. If you know, you know. Okay, let me show you a different angle. So for some people here, because you might feel reluctant to believe what I'm saying, because it's like, yo, it's blowing your mind, and you might feel like, damn, like it's not it's not connected yet, because it's just too much. Okay, that's another good look about it. That is the emblem. Look at the bird. You see the bird? That is the bird that is on his armor. So you know what I'm talking about, okay? That is the bird that is on his armor. So you know. This is the bird of the empire. That is the empire bird. That is the Yanga bird, okay? That is the empire in the Yanga bird that passed down to the next all over Europe as the emblem. Now let me show you once again his armor before I show you his head. Let me show you the armor again. That is right there. So you know I'm not making shit up. So you get to know what I'm talking about. Okay? And let me show you let's see where you at picture. Okay, you can go do a little research yourself on where they told you about Saint Maurice, how they severed his head, they cut off his head and stuff like that. That's they just trying to tell you the truth, but a lot of people don't even know. Okay, let me take it back. Let me take it back for you. Give me 1 second. Let me take it back. Okay, that is the head again. And now let me show you the design of his crown, to show you why they keep the crown like that, because they know, because this is the culture. This is when the church become powerful. This was the last kill for them that gave them the power they have today. The unalive of the emperor of the world was what gave him. This is him right there when he was a kid. Okay, this is why they created the crown like that, because that was his crown. Okay, you get it? So you overstand. This is where the power, this is why the church become powerful today, because that's where the culture come from. The assassination of the last emperor of the world. And this is where they get the power, because they get rid of the saint, because they create the Assassin Creed. Now a lot of people watch the movie or the video game called Assassin Creed. That was the creed they created, and they call it the Crusades or whatever name you call it. This is where they were going all over, get rid of the bloodline of those people, and that culture today called assassin. Assassin is going after the saint children or going after the bloodline of the saints and to get rid of them. And there you have it. Okay, there you have it. Then you get the knowledge, so you're not lost about what I'm doing. Appreciate you, Ram. Appreciate you, man. Let's let's move on to the next knowledge. So you get to know, since they get rid of the saints, this is how the system changed now. After they get rid of the saints, those spirits or those demonic entities have no more people. They have no one to check them now. So now they become God, okay? They are the God on earth, pretty much. Things that they were not able to do, they have the ability to do it. For an example, let me show you one. What you're looking at here is actually a real picture of someone in their backyard using actually a camera, and they snap a picture like one of these night vision cameras, and that entity show up. Now everybody know this entity is what you call the Baphomet. Now I told you these are ancient abomination. This is a splice entity that still exists. Now remember, it's easy for them to move around these days because we don't have saints anymore. The culture of saints is no longer there. They get rid of that. In the ancient time, they were not there to do so because they know somebody will make sure the perimeter is completely sealed with incantations, with spiritual sigils, with so many energy towers. That's why they get rid of these energy towers. What you call wireless tower. Today they want to call them Tesla. No, these were wireless towers. All of these towers is emitting frequencies that causes these entities to not moving around these areas. They will stay away from us. But since they knock these things down, they hide them, they destroy them. These suckers is in and out. And today, that's why your Hollywood or some of your favorite powerful people, they still bring back the same culture that our ancestors got our people to exile from. The same culture that got them kicked out from here in America, they bring the same culture back. The culture of worshiping these demonic entities, the worshiping these what you call abomination. And what you're looking at here, Hollywood, don't worship this sucker right there. He is the most important one in Hollywood. They call the Baphomet. All your celebrities, all your favorite artists, they worship that. And again, look at the name that it have. The name is a Creole name. It's called Baphomet. Remember, you will say Baphomet, but it's a Creole word. It's called Baphomet. That means a lower fake god. Let me say it again. A lower fake God. That's what Baphomet mean. A lot of people say the word. They don't know what it means because they don't speak Creole, because that's the same thing they do. They outlaw Creole in America. Creole been persecuted in the 20s and all the way up. They were outlaw Creole because Creole is our indigenous language. If you speak Creole, you'll be able to decipher everything, and that's what they do. Because you can only imagine if everybody was speaking Creole in the mainland, if they said Baphomet, you will get it. There's no way you're going to worship the Baphomet if you speak Creole, because you're going to know what it mean. It mean Baphomet. That mean a lower fake god. So there's no way you'll be able to follow this shit. Okay? So this is Hollywood favorite abomination, and that's why abomination is running wild these days, because we don't have the cultures of saints anymore. Okay, they assassinate the saints and they going after the royal bloodline, the blind that be able to see beyond the veil. They get rid of all of them, and that's why you got an upside down world. Now, let me show you multi-dimensional beings for people that think it's a game. Now everybody know this, and this is my favorite anime, and everybody know about Naruto, and this is another multi-dimensional entities, and they call it QB. Okay, QB. That's why Naruto is so powerful. As to me, is my favorite anime, but there's really an entity behind it. This is why it's the best, and this is why people gravitate towards it because it's actually a real entity, and that entity is really doing that. It's driving people energy. It move people within the energy of what that entity want, and it's fact. People don't know that. Okay, people don't know that. Let's keep on moving. Let me show you some of them, and this is why vampire dominates, because vampires not only have several entities into the vampire realm. This is your vampire. Now that entity is clearly the color spectrum, because remember, color is how you identify the entity itself to the color. Color will tell you exactly if it's a good one or if it's a bad one. Remember, when it comes to be bad, that means they absorb, they are parasite. See, they are parasite by nature. That means their nature is very parasitical. That means they want energy. Now remember, they are living in a world. The world they live is not a physical world. They just energy. So they drain. So the vampires is what? Vampires is not what you think it is, drinking blood. This is just crap they made up with. Real vampires is actually draining your life force. You feel drained. They will drain your energy to dream world, or they will drain you with people. For an example, like, you know, I have my TC car in New York. I be driving in the city, and trust me, sometime when I pick people, some people get in my car. I kid you not. As soon as they get in my car, my eyes is shut. Like I'm talking about, like less than 10 minutes. I want to fall asleep where I was about to crash my car because they drain my life forces. And as soon as the people left my car, my energy just completely jumped into the roof because that was a vampire. People don't know that, okay? A lot of people walking around you, they are true vampires, but not how Hollywood is selling it to you, biting on your neck. This is just all, smoke screen to just try to paint a narrative to make you think that's what it is. It's not that. It's energy. They drain your energy. And it goes a long way. And people don't know it. See, now calling a vampire is just one. Now, your energy being drained, it goes a long way. I'm talking about sometimes people take your energy and your life is upside down for nearly a decade. That's some people that you encounter with. They snatch your energy. Your life's going to be a living hell for 10 years or live. I'm talking about a decade of misery because somebody snatched your life force and they use that life force as their identity, or they tap on your life force and they've been draining that thing. So when it come to you, whatever that you're trying to accomplish in your life, whatever you think that, and whatever you're trying to pull into your world to materialize, you never have enough energy to materialize your worth, to materialize your thought, to materialize your desire. Your desire can never have enough energy, so the universe can materialize it for you because someone tap on it and they've been draining that shit since and you never knew about it. So listen, man, a lot of people have no idea, and that is the true vampires. That is the true nature of them. So, what you're looking at here, this is them, and the color that they have is a very parasite color. If anything, with the color spectrum of white, anything with white and a little yellow, that means it's very vampiric, or you call parasitical by nature. So, it's a draining entity. Make no mistakes, okay? Let me show you other ones also from the great work of this brother that's no longer with us, okay? That one is another picture someone took about these entities. Remember, like I said, that's a bunch of splice out there that look like your vampire slash health, you know. That's your Helvin, your whatever you call it. So now remember, that's a bunch of abominations. You have no idea how many of them. that is in hideouts, that living in caves, that living in some cold areas. Listen, you have no ideas. Yeah, orcs, if you want to call them like, these are genetically modified creatures. They are not organic. This is a part of the libraries of abomination creatures that survived the great, destructions of the past. So people know, what exactly am I saying? Okay, let's see. Let's see where you at. Let me show you another abomination. See how that sucker look like? Evil as hell. That is a very evil spirit. That is a bloodthirst spirit right there. That is like a chaotic entity that you could tell anything with the red and the brown is going to red. That mean is a chaotic spirit. That mean warmonger, a hard temper, hot temper type of energy spirit, a spirit that is very confrontational. Anybody that you saw have the tendency that be triggered, anything is triggered the person to snap on you, is most likely the suckers is around. Anything the person said is always a issues where everything is click clack and is always right there to your face. That suckers is out there. Feed off from tensions and conflict. That is sucker right there. Okay, so you got to, to understand that. Is why every time somebody is super mad, okay, if somebody is mad, the first thing you're gonna get, they turn red. You see that? If somebody angry, they turn red. That is the color spectrum of negative energy and confrontational frequencies. Okay, so know that. um Now let me show you how ironic is this shit. It's just to show you inspiration, as some of us will call it inspiration, but the truth is it's channeling. Some of us call it inspiration, but it's actually channeling. And this is the same thing that you saw for God. See that? This is every single time you see somebody trying to draw God, they always draw it like that. Now you wonder how the hell they draw, how they get this inspiration from, because what you're looking at here is multi-dimensional pictures. So that look like exactly how people draw God. Now where the hell they get that from? Now this is an entity. This is an entity that exists out there, and once we draw God, this is most likely where they get in this inspiration. Now we saw three different spectrum colors, and the most important one, or the most abundant, that's within this drawing, is purple. And purple is the highest spectrum. Purple is the highest spectrum of frequency, and purple is what you call authenticity. So again, um, that mean is a good entity. This is not a bad entity. That is a good entities here, and they have a little green that mean repair. Green is known for repairing, healing, and purple is the highest spectrum, pretty much mean authenticity. So this is why you wonder, like, how could, when people drawing God, that's how they see it, a person with a big beard, look older, with their eyes looking white, they look like Zeus. This is all multi-dimensional entity that inspiring people to do these things. You just gotta love how the universe operates, and so much out there, and people don't even know it. Okay, don't even know it. Let me see if I got one last one story. Oh, I have a few, but I don't know if I'll be able to find some of them. I have a few. Uh, whew, it's raining again, and the rain is coming. Let's see, picture, where you at? picture wanna hide, folks. The picture wanna hide. Oh, okay, finally got him. Okay, let me show you your Jesus. See that? So you think when somebody draw Jesus and they giving you the style of drawing, it's just by mere coincidence they draw it like that? Nah, this is just the same way an entity inspired them to draw it. That's your shit right there. I'm not making this shit up. Now you decide for yourself what color you saw this shit have. What color you saw it have. Okay? All right, so somebody said purple. I saw a little purple there, but the majority of them is black. Black is chaos. Okay? They have the strongest color in there is actually black. And black is chaos. So therefore it's an energy that you can't control if you don't have knowledge. Is that what exactly happened? That's the same thing happened in our community with that Jesus shit. That Jesus shit is confusing our people, man, because people don't have enough knowledge to control that shit. People don't have enough knowledge to know exactly what the hell they are dealing with. That is the entity that's behind that Jesus shit. That is the entity that's behind all of the I mean, you go to anybody's house, you will saw that drawing, you'll see that picture inside of everybody's wall. That is that entity that is sitting right behind it because that's what bring confusion. What do you see that Jesus shit do to communities? I mean, if you're an indigenous community, if you want a so-called black community, you know the damage this shit is doing in our community, bro. We have family members that don't talk to each other over goddamn Jesus, bro. You have family members that don't even invite your ass because of goddamn Jesus, yo. Listen, I'm a victims over that goddamn Jesus. I have people that they are not even cousin. These were my blood. Just because I don't deal with that Jesus shit, they don't even strike. Listen, I don't remember the last time they even called me. This is the chaos that shit is causing in our community, bro. That shit forsaking family. That shit tearing family apart. Cause that's the entity that's behind the shit. It's a chaotic energy. That's the color. It caused chaos on family. You have people choosing Jesus before their own children, bro. They have people choosing. They said, all I need is Jesus. Fuck their children. They don't care. That shit bring chaos, my nigga. I'm not making this shit up. But the reason why people don't know that is because in their mind, they thinking they dealing with Jesus. They don't know they are dealing with a multidimensional entity that is cloaking behind the symbology of your Jesus. That's why people don't know. They are cloaking behind it. And that's what's causing all confusions about absolutely everything because you think you are dealing with an entity. You think you're dealing with religion. But in reality, you are dealing with a whole freaking entity. But you never have the access or the knowledge to know that is way much more than what you think it is. And for that, that sucker sitting around and become a parasite in your bloodline. And your family can get along. Your children can get along. You can never get your family intact because once you're not following the footstep, once you're not in line with these entities, they will cause issues into your family. And they have a good way of kicking family members that don't follow their energy line. They have a good way to kick the family out under the curb and keep everybody inside of his umbrella and causing chaos and confusion in the whole bloodline. I'm not making this shit up. Y'all know exactly what I'm talking about. Y'all know exactly what I'm talking about. Now ask yourself this. I mean, listen, man. These things is heartful, bro. Dog, you see what's going on over there? These are places that have been affected with wars and political shit. Look at how you do you see? Look at these children, man. Did you understand how sick this world has become, bro? Look at what human beings have to do. Look at how we are treating each other. Look at this. Because demons is in charge of the goddamn world now. We don't have the cultures of the saints anymore. Nobody's looking out for us. Now, what you're looking at here is beautiful for those demons because they love energies of fear. Fear is how they consume. Fear is what empowered them. Misery is what empowered these entities. And that's why they want to keep the world within a fear factor. Stress, exactly. That's why you'll find shit like this and you could not understand how it's even possible to have human beings reduced to the level of animals because they trying to survive. Did you know how, man, listen, man, look at this. Look at this. People just trying to get a plate, bro. Of course, it proves how false is God. But since they hide the knowledge, they on X laughing, right? Of course they will laugh. But don't you worry though. The people that's supposed to see, they are seeing it. Okay? We in the revelation time. A lot of us is here on earth. The children of the saints is here. We saw, we watched, we seen, we are watchers. We know exactly who causing all of these problems. And we have solutions. Trust me. The message has been passing. The message has been delivered to the higher forces. So we know exactly what's going to happen. You best believe it. Yo, this shit is heartening, man. Bro, do you see this shit, bro? And people think this is okay. Yo, this is ridiculous, man. That can be me, bro. That can be you. I want people to know, bro. Just because you don't see it, just because you don't live it, it doesn't mean it's not taking a part of who you are because that could have been you and reincarnated to these people's life. Man, listen. This is in Palestine, bro. This shit is crazy, bro. Now look out in Haiti, bro. Yeah, this is in Gaza. Now, now this is Haiti, bro. You think it's normal for people to live like this? The gang is causing the people to run for their life because they can't protect themselves. They said they sent the African, the Kenyan went there. They every other month they are sending troops. Troops from every nation is in Haiti coming to fight the gang, but nobody doing nothing. They all come to position themselves and to come loot at those people. The people have to run and flee for their life because guess what? They don't give them a resource to fight. They give them an embargo for weapon. That means they can't even have weapon to defend themselves. So they want these people to be like this because it's fear, it's misery. Those entities they're dealing with, the entities that they worship, is actually feeding right now by having these, by creating these activity for them. You get it? Don't you worry. Not one of them gonna escape the karma and the cycle they create on this goddamn planet. They're gonna live in the filth that they create. You mark my word and best believe that. They're gonna live in the filth that they create. The universe will not show no mercy on none of them for what they did to the goddamn planet. Because it's absurd. No human being should live like this. There's enough resource for all of us. There's enough everything for all of us. Okay? This is the Jew, okay? This is what all of us memory is being sent to. Let me remind a lot of people here that don't understand what you call angel, okay? And look at the real angel, because what you're looking at here is a real draw. It's not a drawing. It's actually a real picture. Okay, and this is what they call angel. They call it angel, but it's angle. It's an angle. Okay, an angle. Now look inside of it. What do you see? Sacred geometry. And what do you see inside of it? Is what you call the Jew. When you said Jew is Creole, it means Jew. That is the all-seeing eye. When they talk about the all-seeing eye, that is the eye that is watching everything. That is the watchers. And now how that watchers do? All of our sightings. See, this is why our eye were designed that way. Our human eye were designed to be akin to this. So what you're looking at here, this is the same eye that we each sighting everything that someone see on the planet Earth, everything that we experience to our eye, it will be given, it will be passed. It's almost like a data. We call it the cloud, just like your phone right now. Everything can be stored into the data, it can be stored to the cloud, and this is the ultimate cloud that is recording every experience on this goddamn planet. Everything an eye is seeing, this shit is stored it right now. Okay? It being stored right now. I appreciate you, RJ. And you know where this is a picture taken. It was around, it was in Jersey. The time they said everybody was talking about, oh, it was a lot of drone. It was a lot of drone. No, 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 no. This was a time a lot of our watchers, ancestors come in and actually take note. Okay? Not only they are taking note, they were given an ultimatum because you know it was a lot of conversations of war. They're not gonna allow the nuclear war on the planet. They do not, you know, it's all bluffing. They would never allow that shit. It's bluff. Okay? And for some people here that wonder, this is how it will look like. And what you see in here, this is what you call the name Jew. When you say somebody say I'm a Jew, this is a Creole word. It means Jew. That is the I. Okay? So pretty much they claim a name, they don't even know what it means. It means the I. When you said Jew is Creole, G-E-W, Jew. That is right here. That is the I that we were talking about. The eye of the Most High. That is a technology designed to keep an eye on the planet. That is right there. That is right there. This was actually a real authentic picture from it, but it was from distance before they zoom into it. And I'll show you what I showed you before. This is a drawing and depictions of it from a drawing. That is the eye that you call Jew. Today you said the Jew. So when they said the Jew people, they're talking about those that have direct access to this eye. That means your eyesight. That means all of us eye is connected to this machine. Let me say it again. AI, right? Let me say this again. When you said Jew, when they said you were Jew people, the Jews, right? This is the people that have the eye that connect to this device. That means our sightings, our vision is straight going to this machine. That means we connect with this wheel. We connect to this machine. So they said the Jew people, that's us. We are the eye of this world. So what we see, what we went through, what we visual, our vision, our experience is going straight to this wheel. Okay? The all-seeing eye. You're ready for this shit. They're not ready for this. This is what they call the archangel. The one they prophesize in the time. That is what the real versions, how it really look. That is right here. Okay? So we are in the time of reveal. That's what it's called, revelation. Revelation. Everything's being revealed on our eyes. We all seeing and witness. Today we know who's the enemy. Today we know who's doing this. Today we know who's behind the curtains. There's no longer Santa Claus. There's no longer Satan. We know exactly who they are because we see it with the real eyes. So our eyes is the vision of this machine right there. That's why I tell you, don't you worry. No worry. Don't worry. We see it all. We witness it all. It's already in the cloud. You see that? In the cloud. Is that where those machines are? Is that where they travel? They call it UFO because it's in the cloud. Is that where that is? There it is right there. It's recorded in the cloud. There it is right there in your face. I'm not making this shit up. Lauren, thank you. Okay. I'm going to take a couple questions. It's about to be a 3 hour long. So let's see. It's 11:11 divine time. Let me give my word. 11:11. I will call in on universe. I will call in the Most High, Father, Mother, children, and the universe and the ecosystem to provide the necessary clarity and guidance to my brothers and sisters in this chat, in this live with me. Bring endless possibilities and bring endless guidance and protections for their family and loved ones. Nobody's perfect, but if you give them the inspiration to strive, the inspiration to wake up the next day to be better versions of themselves, let that be the law. And I ask the ancestors to look out for me, look out for my family, and look out for loved one, and look out for those that even doubt me and those that even want to harm me. Maybe one day they can see the better side of me, and that become an inspiration for their journey moving forward. And like I said, may this be the law. Thank you, everyone. So I'm gonna open the chat at 11:11, just going to 11:12. Lady T, thank you, gorgeous. Let me get some G's out of here. Let's see. The rain is coming down really hard right now. Okay, the panel is open, folks. Anybody with some questions? Just try to make one question because you know you're going to be on the clock. It's only 3 minutes, so make it one question, not two, because it's going to be too hard for me to answer two questions around the 3 minute mark. So just make it one. It'll be easy for you moving forward. Man, what's up with that? It's like the panel's not working for right now. Sorry. All right. Let's see. Somebody said, let's see. Rod 6969. What is the journey? Man, come on, man. You know that's a tough question. Only you can decide what your journey should be look like. I cannot tell you about your journey, brother. The journey is yours to choose, is yours to walk to. I mean, I can only giving you a little advice when it comes down to the journey that you pick, but it's not me to tell you what journey should be. That's within you, okay? Shata is oh 07. How do we train to defend our astral body? Now that's a good question. See, your astral body have many compartments. They have many layers and they have many um vitality. I mean, your astral body have I would say that it have a connection with your ancestors. You know, sometimes to protect yourself is to know about certain ancestors because your protection doesn't just mean it's about you. It has to do with those before you because you carry the blood of your ancestors. Sometimes you are just a mere karma. That means you just only exist to carry the burden of your ancestors. And a lot of people is born to be that. That means that you are a karma. You were just born to pay back what your ancestor do. And it might be in vice versa. That means you were just born to rip the karma of good deeds. That's why a lot of people Everything they do work. It's like these folks, they don't work hard for shit. Everything in the universe always fall on these people because they are here as a symbology of good karma for one of their ancestors. It go vice versa. So to protect your astral body is to know those that create this body before you, because your blood is a memory of many before you. So you got to know who they are first. That's why I always urge people, do when you do a reading, you got to find out your lineage and about who was doing this. Because whatever you're doing right now, if you feel intrigued about my knowledge and intrigue about anybody that talks about what I'm doing right now, it's not really you doing this. You you actually a part of it, but this was a part of a memory from your one of your ancestors that were intrigued with these knowledge that passed down to you as an inspiration, or you feel it like a thirst or an inspiration, but it's actually a memory that you share with one that leads you to these conversations. So, find out who they are can help you along the way, because this will be a good, partnership, or also an expansion, because a lot of ancestors in the past, they were persecuted to pursue spirituality. They were persecuted to expand their mind. There was a bunch of different persecutions. So they are living their dreams through you. So you got to find out who they are. So if you want to get more knowledge about ancestral, I highly recommended you to get an ancestral reading with me. But it has to be, scheduled for some times coming. It have to be scheduled ahead. So whatever, if you're interested, reach out to me. And be careful. There's a lot of scammers watching this live. They're going to come into your inbox and asking you for this and that. So protect yourself at any cost. Okay? Um, let's see. Somebody said, Chief Ralph, do you believe the empire will rise again? We already in the empire season, man. Now let me say this again for people that don't get it. What we doing here is the consciousness of the empire. People need to know, when you said empire, we talking about a global civilization, a civilization that don't worry about skin tone, that don't worry about race, that don't worry about nothing. We're worried about a beautiful world, a world of advancement, a world of art, a world of technology, a world of joy and happiness. We were focused on the advancement of humanity. We talking about it right now. So if you talk about if the empire is back, yes, the empire is already there, because everything about life is it's a word. That's why they told you in the beginning it was the word. We're in a word process. So the empire is already back, because at one point they were buried, the empire. We never knew about the freaking empire in America. We don't talk about none of that. And now the world is hearing, the world is on notice. We know about the terror. We know about the empire of IT. The conversation is out there, so therefore it's already back. It's just a matter of time before it materializes to the real world. And again, let's not focus about ourselves, because too much about us. We always see things within our timeline. Now we might feel like it's not there if we don't live it, but no, it's already there. So even if I don't see it, it's gonna be a reality. But the thing is, that's what they've been trying to tell you. They want to call it the New World Order. They trying to mimicking the empire, but with more fear. You can never have an empire or a prosper empire with fear or disunity. The only way you can bring the world together if the world find a common goal, where the world finds something that brings joy to all of them. That's why we have an empire, because the world finds something that they enjoy and they have nothing to refute, where they find more in common, and that's what an empire was. And that's why we have a global civilization where Tartaria was so beautiful. You go in Japan, you find the same architectures. You go to Greece, you go to France, you go to here in America, you go to Haiti, you go to Jamaica. It was beautiful, because the best mind were working together. So that's what it was. Okay, let's see. Let me answer a couple questions. That's right, the new earth. That's right, the new earth. That's where we heading. Don't have to worry, no fear. Okay, no fear. The new earth. That time is up. Let's see. Bring the little Zay here. Get a couple. Let me put the timer. Work. Put the mic down a little bit. All right, Zay, you on the mic. You on the clock.
Peace, Chief. How you doing? Man?
I'm all right, brother. How you doing, man? I'm good.
I'm good. All right. So, I have a question. Relating. I hear some people from various apps. Some people saying this was called a Maxim. Some people say this was called Tamari and stuff like that. And when I watch your lives, um well, I would say this is an assumption. I may be wrong. Forgive me if I'm wrong, but you're saying like this is like the Haitian Empire, right?
Yes.
So my question is, are people wrong when they say this empire was originally, or what the landmass that they call the US, it was originally called a Maxim? Is that wrong? Was it IT? I'm just curious.
It was all IT Empire. This is why you got Empire State Buildings. Now remember, they said a maxim because they talking about the whole Moors, the whole Morocco. Morocco comes after the Empire fall, which is in 1920, after the First World War. So understand anything, any conversation to bury the Imperium history, they're gonna do that. And remember, these people, that's what they do. Whoever's talk about a maxim in Morocco, they never gonna mention the Empire of IT. These are the same old players. These are the same group that their goal is to do just that. It's to bury. Now ask yourself, every time they bring Morocco, ask them one question. Show me artifacts of Morocco in America. They won't be able to show you shit. Show me a crown. Because if America was an empire, I mean if Morocco was an empire, show me the crown of the empire and show me the emperor. Empire
Mm-hmm.
means emperor. They don't have emperors and they don't have the crown to prove that. It's all capped
Right.
because it's all designed for one thing, to bury the true history here, which is the empire of Haiti. And I'll show you the name Haiti or Haitian has been there for 50,000 years ago. It was already there since the time of the Anunnakis. And I'll also show you Creole actually been speaking 4 or 5 thousand years ago. And the Creole analogy frequency, that mean the language they have the most relatable access to is Creole. Creole is the largest relatable language in
Mhm.
the entire world. That means every language you have gonna find Creole sitting in there some way, somehow. And it's a fact. I don't make this
Yeah.
up. And if they talk about a Maxim or Morocco, why they don't have that influence on the world? They capping. And I already show you Morocco was under the empire of Haiti as Sharifian. So they know it. So they know it.
Okay. So what is that whole? So what is this the star on Morocco mean? What does that mean? Is that the seal of Solomon or?
Yes, yes. This was always a seal that we use. It is the same seal of the remember the Sherifian around that area. That's how we use. That's the seal of Solomon for real, and we have it on our ancient money and our ancient
Okay.
artifacts too. So it's just
Okay.
it's nothing. It's the star.
All right. I appreciate it. Thank you. That's all I wanted to ask. Thank you. I'm just here to learn. Take what I can take. What I if I have a question I ask. So that I could evolve. We as a people can evolve. Thank you.
No, definitely, man. No problem. You got it, Zay. Man, let me say this before I leave. Um, for, before I leave, once again, for people that wonder when they talk about, let me say this again before I leave. This is the oldest alphabet passed down and create your alphabets of today. Once again, okay? Not Morocco, not Morocco. It was here in America. IT. Remember, let me say this again. The name IT, or you want to call Haitians, that name exists way before any other nation that birthed here in America. This is the oldest name here since the time of record, since they trying to use the term of the modern day, since they use 1492. The name, see, in 1492 they came to IT. Okay, Haiti already exists since 1492. The U.S. was not there. When you say Haiti, they talk about the entire America. That was the empire. The empire exists since then. 1492, they came to the empire. This is what people don't know. Please remind them so they get to know what they are saying. It's that simple. And when people try to use United States, it's not a name of a nation. They are describing what happened. They unite those states. So this is not the name of it. And so if you said United States of America, it's not the name of a nation. They know that. So all the state they unite of America. But now what is the name? They cannot tell you because it's a corporation. That's right. They cannot tell you. They know it have a name. It's called IT. It's called IT. They know that. They're not going to tell you. It's called IT. You can go in all of these regions, you will find IT name all over the states. You go to Missouri, you'll find it in Missouri, St. Louis. You go to North Dakota, you'll find it. You go to Louisiana, you'll find it. You go to New York, you'll find it. That was the name. I'm not making the shit up. It was the Empire of IT. That's why they stuck. The writer told you United States, but United States is not a name. It's an act of connecting all the states to unite them because these was lost territory. And they told you of America, United States of America. America is the continent. But now the question is, what is the name? They can't tell you because they know it was IT. That's the game they play with you. And all the other nations that you find that they call today, they gave you territory like Puerto Rico, they told Trinidad. These things were created not too long ago. That is what you call the Commonwealth divide and conquer from the empire. All of these things were created not too long ago. It's after the empire fall. But all of us were known as indigenous. That was our true identity. We are indigenous Amaru. When you said Amaru, people don't understand. Amaru mean I'm Aru. That means the spirit is with you. It's Creole. Amaru. I'm Aru. That means the spirit is with you. So when people say you I'm Amaru, that's what it means. The spirit is with you. Because IT mean the land of the gods. Make it make sense. IT mean the lands of the god, and Amaru mean the spirit is with you. All of them make sense. Maya mean I am God. I mean, this is why they got to. All of them make sense. All the language, all the lingo, or the meanings behind it, it's all adding up the same. Why you think America have the largest people or melanated Americans is the only group in the world that named their children Maya. No other group named their children Maya like us here in the mainland or the entire America. Why is that? Maya. Think about that. It's a powerful spiritual name. It means my God. I am God. My Yah. That means I will be God. Toya, a lot called Toya. Yeah. Moya. Yeah. Moya, the word of God. That's what it means. Mo, word. Yah, God, the word of God. Muya, I am God. Maya, I will be God. Ma, ya, I will be God. Mu, ya, I am God. Maka, ya, ma, ka, ya, I can be God. You have no idea, man. Name got the truth sitting on them. But anyway, oh, the 3 hour mark just hit. I would like to give shout out and give thanks to all my brothers and sisters that was around this live. And I'm about to dip. You know, it was a special night. It was beautiful like always. And you know, the I think I got one part. I got the covered. Yeah, let me cover this part. It's still in vampire season. It's still in vampire season. Everybody talks about vampires. And remember, um, the culture of vampire happens here in America, not in Europe, nowhere else. And let me explain to you what happens in the culture of vampires, how vampire culture starts, and let me explain it to you, and let me bring the knowledge to y'all. This was an indigenous culture, and let me bring this knowledge to y'all so you understand, and understand. Let me explain this right quick. Man, I've seen this before. This is a deja vu. Oh, I've seen this before. Now, what you're looking at on the map right now, these are the territories that all were speaking Creole. Before they outlaw Creole, all of this spot that you see, the brown spot, all of these areas were speaking Creole before the outlaw versions. That mean the Reconstruction. Sorry. The Reconstruction was a culture, they call it exactly that, reconstruct. That mean they're going to change what was there once and change it differently because of what they start to do, which is indoctrinations. And, you know, people was not allowed to come to school, or you've been persecuted, or you got punished in school from speaking Creole. Now, anybody that want to get knowledge about what I'm saying, that's the video I post. And the video have interview with people here in the States, talk about their childhood, people from many part of the states, people from the from South America, people from indigenous tribes, people in Brazil. You got Beyonce. Listen, go watch this. Go watch it. It's in my page. You can go watch it. Then you'll be able to see what I'm saying. I'm not making this shit up. I bring facts. It's what I do. And I've been doing this for a minute now, doing it right. I bring facts. I don't make sensation. I don't talk out of my ass. I bring facts so you'll be able to know what I'm saying, and capping is just nothing but the truth. Now, those brown areas all were speaking Creole before the Reconstructions. So now what you need to understand, those brown areas is where all the wars happened in the States. These are the Civil War, the Southern War. This is where all the war been fought in American history. Now ask yourself these questions. How coincidental it is. All of the places that speak Creole is where all the wars in American history happened. Now, anybody that uses simple logic, that should tell you something here. Why all the wars in American history is all these wars been fought in the same area that everybody was speaking Creole at one point. Now, all you got to ask yourself is not that hard. It's right there to your face. So who the hell was talking? Who are these people fighting? It's us. Okay? The Empire children. It's us. The indigenous. Okay? The Empire children. It's us. The indigenous. That's why the army name was the Indigenous Army. I'm not making this shit up. I'm not. That was the Indigenous Army. That was the name of the army. It didn't call, it didn't call African. It didn't call, it called the Indigenous Army. And indigenous mean everybody in the continent. You come in and defend your territory because these war was what you call continental. This was a continental war. That's how they call it. Ask yourself, why would they want to call it a continental war? Because we got invaded by other nations. Okay, so we were defending our territory. So it was no such thing as somebody come from Jamaica. It was no such thing from somebody come from Bahamas. We all was indigenous. That's how they call the army the indigenous army. So America was home. This was a global civilization, and also this was what we call Pan American. This is our home, our continent. We all got to come and defend it. So now, this is how vampire were born. For people here that ever get to understand. Remember, these territories was known as agricultures. These places were known as trading spot. Most of these places, this is how the empire was prospering, because you got a lot of what you got. You got coffee, you got cottons, you got sugar cane, you got wheat. That's so many stuff. Tobacco. This is how the empire was prospering. America got more food because food was actually the resources of the world at that time. So therefore, that's where everybody trying to come and steal and confiscated these land, because these land was that. Yes, fresh water, including corns, maize, called maize. So therefore now, when we got invaded by these invaders, you call the Ottomans in the Ottoman Empire. That's why they call the Ottoman Empire. They have different groups with them. They have the Mongols with them, which mean you got what you call the Mongols. You know, Mongolian was with them. They have several European nations to be the crown. The Brit, there was not crown. There was the England. England was with them, and there was no such thing as Spanish. Spanish is something they used not too long ago. It was the same Ottoman. The Ottoman have different bodies with them. The Turks, so many other groups they come that was underneath of them. So it was a plethora of groups of them that come here and invade. So now, when they came here, like I said, that's where the culture of empire about to take place. Now, what was the cultures of empire? The culture of empire is what you call, that was a culture to be free. Okay, now a lot of people don't know. The culture of empire was a way for us to free ourselves from captivities. When they get to these areas, these territories were known to be agriculture territories. So when they confiscate these land, they stole these land from us. A lot of our ancestors that left behind, they turn us to prisoners of war. So we become prisoner of war on our own land. So for what they did, they forced us to teach the indentured servant. Now, what is indentured servant? This is actually somebody that's under contract of labor. This is labor contract. And who were the labor contract? They bring a group of these folks. These are what you call the whitey people. These are what you call other prisoners of war from other European conquered land. So they brought them here. The Irish, your people from London, people, they bring a bunch of them here. And the Turks also bring a lot of these them Slavics with them. So now when they bring a work labor force, that is your first union, your work labor force. The goal is to force our ancestors, those prisoners of war, those captors, people they got our people in captivities. They force us to teach them the land. They force us to teach them how to cultivate the land because they want to replace us with them. So that process took 2 to 3 years. That's why they told you slavery was brutal. That was the slavery, forcing us to work our own land by kept us on captivity on our own land. So therefore, 2 to 3 years, that's why they get rid of us. It's only take 2 to 3 years, and this is when now the culture of outlaw Creole start to happen because we speak our own language. The language was Creole. We speak with each other with their language. And this is when they start brutalizing us because they're afraid that they don't understand what we are saying. And this is when now that process of trying to stop that language from spreading or stop that language from speaking starting. And now a lot of our ancestors start to run away. This is where you get a lot of runaways. Okay? The runaways happen by having these indentured servant, pretty much the white women, the whitey women's, they were the one helping us to get free. Because when they get inside, they're around the vicinity of their masters. They in the house with their masters. So a lot of stuff that they know, they tell us and they help us run away. So a lot of our ancestors run away. So What we start to do, we start to initiate these women. The first people that got initiate into the practice, you call Zemi. That was the real name. They call Zemi Yaya. Zemiyaya, that's the name. It means the spirit of the Most High Mother, the spirit of Mother Earth, the spirit of the Great Mother. Zemi. Today it's called Voodoo, but the name is Zemi. The original name is Zemi. But today you will call it Voodoo. So you get to know what I'm saying. So the first group of people we start to initiate pretty much mean we start to teach because we know the only way we're going to get our land back if we tell these people how to use some of our magic against their own people, against their master, because those indentured servant, they find a common unity with us because they themselves were oppressed. And also we develop a friendship with them and they feel like this is an opportunity for them to be free fully and also have a part of a place to live for free because where they came from, they were a slave. Where they came from, they don't own shit. So it was something for them to really fight for because they understand we the owner of the land, and also by helping us, we will give them a place to live. So they feel like it's a better bargain, it's a better deal than to work with the same slave master that brought them here. So we start to initiate them within the practice. And that's when we start to teach them certain custom into the way that you call the voodoo today. The first initiates into the practice were the women, white women. They were the indentured servant women. They were the one that we bring into the practice. We teach them the basic stuff. And one of the stuff we teach them is is sex magic. Sex magic was the first thing we taught them. This is how we put spirit in these women. So when we have sex with them, we put a sex magical knowledge spirit on them. So these women have the ability to make their master talk to them by telling them their deepest secret. We introduce that knowledge to them, which is sex magic. So when these women go have sex with their master, whatever they ask the master tell them about everything. Where they were hiding the guns, where the shipment was coming, where they were hiding out, when they're gonna attack. We know everything because we initiate these women, and these women have things on them to get that. And now this is where the vampire culture starts. Now, once these women start to get caught, they start to burn them. This is where the burn the witch at the stick, because they start to figure this thing out. So some of these women get caught. A lot of them got, jealousies and stuff. Some women start to snitch because they start to notice these women at night. They be going places late night and come back late, and they start to follow their trail. They see where they went to ceremony and all gathering, so they start snitching and stuff. So we realizing a lot of these women is becoming like they were the one that helping us. So we got to find a way. And this is where the culture of empire start. What we start to do, we always have that. We have some of our poisons that actually slow the heart rate. So what we do, we give these women the poisons so they can take the poison ahead of time. So when they take the poison, it look like they died. Their heart is, listen, they have no heartbeat, but they not really die though. So what they start doing, they start to bury these women, start to dig a hole, bury them because they think they really gone. But to us, that was a way for us to free these people. So we zombify them so we can go collect the body after 2 days. So after they bury these women, we go collect them. When we collect them, we perform rituals to take the spirit back and navigate the spirit back to their bodies. And this is why today in zombifications, a lot of people never be the same because today the practice, a lot of people don't even know how to navigate the spirit back to the person's body because after I said that after 48 hours, the spirit can eventually leave the body and start moving around, and people will not be able to track the spirit and bring it back to the body. So again, this is where you get the culture of vampires. So from there, after we get these women, that's your vampire. People died and they break out of the coffin. That this is all part of the culture of zombifications and voodoo. That's where they give it to you in Hollywood when they bury the person. When you go check, they're no longer there. That was what we were doing. Okay, this is where their culture start. So after a couple of days, they bury it at night. We open these coffins and we get these women out because we know what we did. We performed that ritual with the poison, so we know they would never die. And from there, we go with them and perform ritual to try to bring the spirit back to them. And this is what we do. And guess what? Some of them, we don't even perform ritual to put their spirit back because some of them, their spirit was already gone. So for that, we put in different other entities in them, and we put in war entities into them. That means warrior entities. And one of these spirit we used to put in these women, I forgot the name of it. Um, um, man, I'm gonna give you the name. It's an ancient Maya spirit. It's an ancient bat Maya spirit. Now, anybody here can tell me the name of the Maya bat god? Let me say it again. Anybody can tell me what is the name of the Maya bad, yeah, Kamazos. There you go. We evoke the spirit of Kamazos into these women. So when these women coming back, they got their spirit on them, and they've been going after their master and attack their masters. They start to bite them. They were listen. This is where you get the vampires from. These women were going crazy, and it gets so bad that they start to attack these guys, attack the camp. They were going after these people crazy. They're shooting at them. They don't feel nothing, and this is where you get your first vampires from. And to stop them, we have to perform rituals to stop them. We collect their heart. And this is why they told you with the performance to stop, to actually plunge a damn dagger in a vampire heart to get rid of. No, this was the ritual. This is what our ancient Maya and Aztec used to do when we take out the heart from them because the heart collect the spirit away from them. This is all ancient tradition here in America that these people take and take it somewhere else and completely eradicate the story whatsoever. And this is what's been happening. This is where the first vampire culture come from, here in American soil, in the plantation system that our ancestors perform ritual to fight the enemy within. And this is how we end up win the war, because these women end up doing this with us. And this is why you will find a lot of indigenous Americans have a strong tie with white women, or white women love the black man, the black women love. This is an ancient little shit that happened, bro. They have a spiritual contract. They perform for freedom. This is why black men see themselves as a free man if they got a white woman with them. They can feel like they are important in front of the white man because of that shit really happened. That was a form of freedom because the white woman was not free and the black man was in captivity on his own soil. So those two perform a spiritual contract to free themselves at one point in the plantation. So understand this shit really does happen. It does. And when you get to the indigenous so-called black woman was always a warrior. She was never obedient. She was always fighting because she got the blood of the ancient warriors. And she would give him birth without men. So so she still carried that little thing that she is hard to deal with. Because her culture here in America, she was never in a subservient culture. She was never in a lower class. She was an empress. And she was a warrior at the same time. So therefore, she is harder to deal with. She have many layers, many walls to break before you get to her heart. I'm telling you, man, things is different. Things is different. There's so many cultures, but this is what happened with the vampires. This is what happens to the vampires. And today, you saw who they gave the face of vampirism is whitey women. They show you vampire was always sensual, was always sexual, and also from sexuality, that's where they take you out. This is a true shit. It was them. It's these whitey women in the plantations, these indentured servants that actually help actually fuel the revolution. This is why you see right after the revolutions, right after these war, all you see is a marriage between black men and whitey women having a bunch of baby, a bunch of biracial will start to be born, because this was the case of also the unification that need to happen to save them. This was asking and ordained. That's what you call the one drop rule. This was the one drop rule. Today they try to make you think one drop rule has to do with racism. No, 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 no. The one drop rule was eventually what gave them the access to be a part of the nobility of America. That's where they find freedom. They find freedom here in America. They do not get persecuted anymore in America. That was the land of the free. Okay? So when you see white folks or whitey people fighting the Middle East, that's what I'm telling you. I don't like war. I do not want to see the world still at war. But this is an ancient rift. This is an ancient hatred. This is an ancient war because the Middle East represent the Ottomans. These were the people that were selling them. These were the people that were trafficking them. So when you saw there's always a tension between them. This is ancient beef, my G. People don't know that. This is it's like history repeated itself, or history trying to paint a drawing, a picture about a reality that you can't ignore because something happens in the past. That's what it is. That's what it is. Okay? So man, my time is up, man. 3 hour, 30 minutes. Time is up. So I'm gonna catch you guys next time. Thank you, bro. Appreciate you, Divine. 999. What up? What up? What up? So have a wonderful night, y'all. Peace and everyone. Definitely, it was an amazing ride. Always, all the time. Every time we came here, we make, we have a beautiful gathering. Shit is happening. Dopes, my knowledge is your knowledge. I don't do this alone. This is a network, and the network consists of you guys here that keep the knowledge flowing through me, and then we just have this beautiful 3 hours, 30 minutes, man. Okay. So I'll catch you guys next time. Peace, everyone. And beware, okay? That's a lot of scammers out here. They always around here, so I try to get rid of some of them, but I can't. So beware of scammers. They're gonna come ask you for money. They're gonna ask you for readings and all that. I don't do that, okay? If you want something from me, you write me. You shoot me a text, say, yo, what's up? I want to do this. That's it. I do not ask for money. I don't ask for nothing. I don't do that. So whoever come at you using a fake page, it's what they do. They use my avatar. I mean, they use my profile pic and trying to clone my page and try to get money. That's why I don't respect these folks out here. So it's not me at all. You want to support me? Go to my Patreon right now. You become a member, and also you can watch my documentaries and all the dope stuff, including past live. You want to catch many other live or the replay, you go over there. That's how you do it. And anything else, you reach out to me, and I can point you to the right directions. And anything after that, anything besides that, it's not me. So peace, everyone. Thank you for the gathering. I'm going to catch you guys next time. I'm out.